Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately than having to go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Get your glasses on. It's time to go to work. Good morning and welcome to the November 10th edition of Finish Line. Of course, it's on Fox Sports Radio affiliates across the Carolinas and from Rocky Mount up down 95 to Fayetteville. Then, of course, in addition to that, it's on the Community Radio Network. It's on iHeartRadio Sports and Video is on LSRTV Productions. I am Wesley Outland. Welcome to the hot seat. We've got a great show for you today. Man, we are not going to waste any time. We've got guys that are on from modifieds, dirt late models to pavement late models, all across the U.S. that have competed over the weekend. We're going to have an opportunity to have them highlighted, have them on, have them be able to recap their weekend, recap their seasons, recap the emotions that they've went through. Make an adjustment on my board here. So we welcome you to Finish. Hey, it's November the 10th, 2021. Hard to believe this season is just rocking and rolling, flying by. We've got a great guest panel today. We're not going to waste any time. And by the way, Young Money, Kyle Larson, NASCAR Cup Series champion. Would it have been any better way? Ben Rhodes winning a wild truck race at Phoenix. Daniel Hemrick winning the NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. And his first career NASCAR sanctioned win. A lot of people blew that under the radar because, he's the champion, he's a champion. Yes, he's the champion of the Xfinity. But in addition to that, he also won his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series race. So he had to sling it in there, bonsai it in there. And I talked to some other people. Some people are on the fence of, well, that was rough driving. Hey, shouldn't have done that. Look, when it's the last lap, you got a chance to win close to $1 million in a championship on the line. You want to win your first race. You're going to do any and everything. You ever heard the old cliche, I'll wreck my mama to do it? I'll wreck my mama to do it. Okay? Daddy's going in the fence, as they say. But I'm a broadcaster, so I'm not a race car driver. And if I ever done something like that, my mom and dad would kill me. I don't know what happened in your family, but yes, my mom and dad would be like, "You're dead," especially. So, but anyhow, Charles, you've heard of that expression, right? He's in my ear. You can't hear him. That would kill me too. Exactly. See. And I digress. Hope everybody's been having a good one. Ready for the holiday season. Thanksgiving's around the corner. Who's ready to eat some turkey, okay? You had all that Halloween candy. All them kids ate all that candy. You're about to fall out of the chair. You had all that candy trick-or-treating. And now we're all ready to gobble down some turkey, some dressing, some my favorite's cranberry sauce. So, and I will tell you, normally our plan is I like to give everybody a break, myself as well. I call it my energy resetter. And normally what we try to do is like take you to the first week or two of December, and then we take off here, and then come back around right before mid-January, right before beginning of speed weeks, things like that. So that's our plan. I'll let you know. Right now, it's time to rock and roll. Cue up that music, Mr. Engineer. Charles Wood behind the scenes, and then it's time to let you know who's on Finish Line today for this Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. By the way, I hope you set your clock back, because if not, you're ahead of everybody else. And that's not good. Matt Hirschman, man, you call the guy Big Money. He has dominated this season in modifieds to the Northeast down to the Southeast. The 2021 North-South Series champion, of course, is joining us, Matt Hirschman, here in just a couple of moments. We'll talk with him. In addition to that, we're also going to grab on Mr. Mason Diaz. Mason Diaz is a competitor of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series competition. He picked up the win, and you guessed it, the Solid Rock Harriers, number 24 at Hickory Motor Speedway in the fall. Russell Irwin, the Commonwealth Bandit. He is your 2021 after being a four-time I-95 Late Model Series champion and a Fuel Series champion. He is this year's Steel Block Bandit Dirt Late Model Series champion. And then Jet Nolan, who picked up the Show Me the Money finale at Montgomery, is in hour number 1 from Hype Motorsports. Jet Nolan. Keep going. We're into hour number 2. Guests include the Caraway Speedway North-South Shootout Southern States Pro Late Model Series winner, Josh Lauder out of Archdale, North Carolina, kicks off hour number 2. We talk the turn of the biggest limited late model race on pavement in America, the Misha Sell Memorial, with David Sell, the promoter. And then, of course,
finally, going back home, the Battle of the Stars, presented by Solid Rock Carriers, is this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Joining in the co-announcing booth, my friend Andy Marquise on Speed 51 TV, presented by Racing America, presented by Speed 51 TV. So Andy Marquise will be joining us. In addition to that, the promoter, Anthony Goodyear from Goodyear All-American Speedway, formerly known as the Coastal Plains Raceway Park, will be joining us on the show. That is coming up today. Great guest lineup, right? Matt Hirschman, Nathan Diaz, Russell Irwin, Jed Nolan, Josh Lawler, David Sells, Andy Marquise, and David Goodyear, Anthony Goodyear. Today on the November 10th edition of Finish Line. And let's go right to the phone lines because we are not wasting no time. Let's get it started. And joining us outside, where I would think it would be a little cold outside, but he is ready to go. And that is, of course, the driver of Matt Hirschman. Matt Hirschman is the 2021 Dominator of Modifieds, it feels like. This guy's done any and everything and went modified competition this year. And Matt Hirschman picked up another big win over the weekend in the North-South Shootout. Matt, good morning to you, buddy. Welcome back to Finish Line. You've been on before. We've just never seen you on video. Matt, can you hear us, buddy? Well, Matt is. We see Matt. You see Matt. I see Matt. We hear Matt. I hear a wind blowing. Matt, got a copy? Matt Hirschman, are you there? I wonder if he's in a bad area outside where the. Well, anyhow, we're trying to reconnect to Matt Hirschman. So
I got
Matt. If you, there you go. Hey,
yeah,
Matt.
I hear you.
Good morning.
You got
good morning to you. Yeah, I don't think this is working out very well like we had hoped to. Well, let's. Can we reconnect and try to get back to him here in just a second? Matt, stand by. We're going to try to call you here. Matt, just stand by. We're going to try to call you here. Just give us a second, and we're going to try to throw in an audible. Poor Matt. I don't think he has good location. Charles, we could just disconnect from him. We'll try to get him on here via phone cast. So just stand by, and we'll try to call him up and get him on. So just give me a minute here to. Do we have him now? All right, let's try to see if we can bring him back. Let's bring him back. Matt Hirschman, are you there, brother? Matt, are you there?
I can hear you. You guys hear me?
There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. A little technical difficulties in the world of there. And it sounds like you're dedicated to being out in the cold doing an interview with us. Welcome to Finish Line this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Now it's actually a nice day today. The sun's out and it's really warming up quite well. So no, it's just beautiful today.
Certainly is, man. Definitely. Hey, listen, Big Money is your nickname, and you have just pocketed another big win, another big bonuses at the North-South Shootout, Caraway Speedway. We look at what you did back in March at the March Madness race with the Smart Modified Tour. You won that event. You come back to Caraway this past weekend, and I know you fought the cold, and you fought the wind blowing, the weather, but, man, everything went good for you and the PD Motorsports team. Talk about that big win again at the North-South Shootout, and just how much money did you end up putting in your pocket in bonuses and lap sponsors and anything else, pole awards, and then dominating the race, which, by the way, it was an eventful 150-lapper for sure, but at the end, you started on the pole, you came out on top, and you won the event.
Yeah, we really had a good day. To be honest, the only bad part of the day is the weather wasn't as nice as it is right now. That's for sure. It was for that time of year. It was a little cool and overcast, and probably about 20 degrees lower than what it would like to see probably at that time of the year. But that was unfortunate. But other than that, the event went really well for us. We were able to win the pole on Friday. And it was all fan offered the pole winner a bonus of $2,000 to start in the rear if you can win. So we decided to take that, and we were able to also pick up a bonus that we were eligible for in qualifying races leading up to the North-South Shootout. So all total, with collecting the bonuses that we were able to get, we took in $10,500. So it was really good. I mean, probably should pay $10,000 to win a big event, comparable to other events throughout the year up in the Northeast and that. But good day. The races all have been very good for my career, and we were able to get another win.
It has been, if you will, man. Just go back to, I think of Seekonk, and I think of Thompson. I think of all these races you've won, touring races, special races. Modified racing is definitely back on the rise again, regardless of where we dealt with last year with COVID, past COVID, post COVID, dealing with the crazy economy of, the fuels prices and shortage of race parts and all these other things. And it has affected the modified world just like anything else. It just seems like these modifieds just will not go away. It's been a good year for modifieds, especially where you're from up in the Northeast. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying in recent years that modified racing is stronger now than it was, let's just say, 10 years ago. And I said that probably 2 years ago. I said it last year. I said it this year. So it's definitely stronger as a whole. It's not the same landscape that it was at one time. It's changed a lot, but if anything, it's definitely stronger now, and the competition is tougher. And we've had great car counts. Some of the tri-track events had upper 30s and 40 some cars, and there's diversity. It's definitely a different landscape than it once was, but as a whole, I think it's stronger and growing right now. I think there's more people coming into modified racing, some younger drivers, and look at the Smart Tour, for example. Southern Modified Racing was nearly dead just a few years ago, and they got together at the end of last year with some events, and then had a strong season this year with solid car counts. Crowds looked good at places they went to. They went to some places. We got to go to Dominion. That was one of the ones we could make. But I know they also went to Motor Mockery and tracks that I never even heard of or seen before. And they put on good events. So look at from the north to the south. I mean, look at the car counts down at speed weeks for the tour time modifieds. I mean, I think we blow the other classes, and we also go out and put a show of the week annually. But that says a lot for the division, and to be one of the lead guys, of the current, the mod squad that there is today is something that I take pride in.
Matt, the North-South Shootout. Oh, yeah, the word mod squad, the drivers that live by horsepower, so many analogies to describe what is the world of modified racing. And a lot of people might not even know this, but the first true sanctioning body of NASCAR was modifieds. That's, a lot of people don't understand the whole story of where the modified era came from. NASCAR, that's why there's such a, and I will say this, I feel like there was a decline, as you said, Matt, but it seems like it's on the rise again. You've got Martinsville modifieds again. You've got Richmond running modifieds again. Bristol in its heyday was once again doing a lot of modified races for, and it kind of stopped. I think that's going to come back again. I really believe that. And I like seeing that in addition to the Smart Modified Tour, I believe the NASCAR Modified Series, they believe, okay, man, maybe we got something here. Maybe we do need to come back south again, because you and I both know, Matt, and I've announced several of these events. You're lucky if you saw the NASCAR Modifieds at Myrtle Beach, maybe at Bristol, maybe at Langley.
and that was it. And they're starting to make this comeback return. I saw the other day where they announced the NASCAR modifieds are going back to Langley, but there's a little frustration on the dates and competing against other events. And obviously, just like in the car wars on fenders, Matt, there is rivalries, and there is some people that are cutthroat in the modified industry, where people are competing against each other, sanctioning bodies and modifieds competing against one another. How do you pick and choose what races or what sanctioned events you want to run?
Well, yeah, I think I'm quite probably a little bit different than most. We don't stick to just one series or one thing and follow solely that. We really run a very diverse schedule. We get to compete series, and I'm not a loyal supporter of the Wheel and Modified Tour. We do 3 or 4 events every year, and this year we did very well. We had a win in 2 seconds, and there we did do. Here's we've got some that I never raced at. Langley was one of them, going back a few years. The White Mountain last year, Beach Ridge this year. So, there's, it's like I said, I'm the most loyal supporter of the NASCAR modified, the Wheel and Modified Tour. But I will say they got a very nice schedule put together this year. They're fitness tracks and some nice tracks. So I know that we won't be able to go to all of them, but there's some stuff there that we can pick from that's really positive. So the car counts and the competition is not what it used to be, but at one time, that was the only, that was everybody that raced modifieds. That was where you were trying to get to. So the best of the best were there, and there wasn't many other options. You had more weekly racing, but not touring. And now it's completely different, where you have several series competing. And again, it's everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I'll say right now, in recent years, that the Tri-Track Open Modified Series has tougher competition than the Wheel and Modified Tour. If you take the fields from top to bottom, and you have to race your way into the shows, and the cars that don't even qualify for some of the races. Again, I'm not knocking the NASCAR or the Wheel and Modified Tour either, because like I said, they have a nice schedule and they're going to some really good tracks. So there's a lot of positives out there to look at.
Few more minutes with Matt Hirschman. Welcome back to Finish Line, of course, and he is joining us, winner of the 21 North-South Shootout at Caraway Speedway, amongst a whole bunch of other wins this year. I mean, my goodness. Now I know the reason why they call Hirschman, and it just seems like year after year after year, and the times that me and you are able to get back in contact with one, you're dominating. You're one of the key elements in modified racing where its growth has continued. Winning the North-South Shootout, how is that race to you, Matt, winning that event?
Well, it was the biggest race early in my career because when I had won it in 2006, I kind of say it put me on the map, because at that point I had won some local races and maybe on the ROC tour a few races, but that was a big deal because it was a big stage at that time. What Charles Kepley did. Again, now we're going back almost 20 years when he started the North-South Shootout. That was back when you had the Wheel and Modified Tour, and yes, there was the ROC and MRS had just started, I think, or whatever, but there wasn't so much of like the open shows and that almost like it was earth-shattering, because it was like, this is unheard of. Nobody puts on an open modified event and tries to draw cars from all over. It pretty much, you had your tours, and that was for the most part, that was it. So what he did then was kind of was blaze a trail, really, for a lot of the events that we have now, and what are considered open shows. But then the Tri-Track series tied together some of the open shows, and formed a mini series, and a lot has changed. Those were very big state of attention, and I went to that race in 2006. I had been to, I think, 2004 and 5. We were there, um, but I wasn't somebody's going to be in that race. I'm probably a favorite. Some would even think I was a contender, and we were able to win that, which was such a big deal. And then we backed it up again in 2007, and I think we proved, we were for real, and things were starting to really progress for me in my career, and then we've won it. We won it again at Concord. Then it moved to Caraway. We won it a couple times there. Back to Concord, won again. What I did here, got wrecked very late in the race, but now we won it again. So more of my success. Certainly appreciate what we'll continue to support it. Next year will be 20 years. The only one I didn't compete in was the very first. I just, like I said, it was early in my career, and I wasn't quite probably ready or branching out that far yet. But then we've been there every year since 2004. We've had our share of success, most of anyone.
I know the plans are for sure. Darren Hackett, we had him on Finish Line last week, along with the promoters, and I know Jack McNelly and the Cars Tour. They're hooked up with this event next year. It's going to be even bigger than ever, I believe, of the North-South Shootout. Well, Matt, our time has grown short, buddy. Thank you so much, man, for joining us, and a big, big win for you. Thank your sponsors in closing, and, of course, as always, I guess it's no more racing until the Turkey Derby at Wall Stadium, right? Thanksgiving weekend?
That's always where it ends. We've been going every month. We probably won every month, to be honest with you. Thinking about it, we probably won in every month from February till through November. So December and January are only 2 months where we won't race at all. So but then we'll be back at it in February for Speed Weeks again. So it's a long season and a short off season. Appreciate you guys having me on, and anytime we'll come back again.
You're certainly welcome. Big money. Thanks, and Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, and we'll see you. If you win the Turkey Derby, we'll have you back here on Finish Line as always. Congratulations, champ. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
There you go. Big money, Matt Hirschman, winner of the 2021 19th Annual North-South Shootout at Caraway Speedway. He joins us here on Finish Line. We are a couple of minutes behind schedule, but I promise you we will catch back up some one way or the other. We will make sure everybody gets their due, gets their time on the air. And joining us now is a competitor of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He's ran NASCAR Xfinity competition. His father is involved at Southern National Motorsports Park in Kenley. And Mason Diaz is building his own legacy in racing as well. And the Solid Rock Carriers, number 24, picked up the win at Hickory Motor Speedway in the Fall Brawl, one of the prestigious late model races in the country at Hickory, the birthplace of NASCAR stars. Mason Diaz out of Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to Finish Line, buddy. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on.
It just worked out perfectly because I know you said you got schooling and everything else, and it just worked out good to have you on the program. Hey, big win for you. Not only competed in NASCAR, the NASCAR touring season is done. Obviously, Ben Rhodes winning the Truck Championship, Daniel Hemrick, Xfinity, and Kyle Larson in the Cup Series. Good championship racing at Phoenix. But I was going to say this, man, a big win for you at another prestigious event, the Fall Brawl at Hickory Motor Speedway. Just, let us know, recap here on Finish Line, how 2021's being for you from running that crazy NASCAR schedule of the events you run and then going back to your roots and still getting it done in a NASCAR late model.
Oh, my roots are always going to be late model stock racing. it's never going out of it. It's always something that I want to be a part of. And my 2021 season with running with ARCA and Cars Tour and Select NASCAR short tracks, it's been a up and down season. We definitely showed strong in the beginning stage of the ARCA with Visconti Motorsports, but with Cars Tour at Mike Don Racing, we had a struggle for a year. Nothing kind of really fell our way, I felt like, but overall, it was a really good season. We had ups and downs, but I feel like it's every season. So I'm happy to close it out with a win.
Exactly. And of course, Hickory Motor Speedway, there is so much prestige. There is so much history. There is, from looking at the old NASCAR Busch Series days to the big races of the Hooters Cup Series to what Pass is doing and the Easter Bunny and the Fall Brawl is another one of those big races. It seems like there's two at the end of the year, but there are these marquee events that they last. You think of the Fall Brawl at Hickory. You think of Florence, which used to be the Myrtle Beach 400. You think of the Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National, which your dad the last couple of years has helped promote that event in Kinley. And you think of South Boston. You think of Langley. Langley, Hampton Heat 200s in the summertime. So, I mean, besides the prestigious late model events, obviously Martinsville, Hickory realm of special events. And, winning at Hickory is a very unique place. That's a unique racetrack. A lot of people say you can win anywhere. Do you agree with that, Mason?
Hickory for sure is one of the hardest tracks I've been to. I have picked up on it, I feel like. Throughout this year, we ran there 3 times with being at Cars Tour twice and now the Fall Brawl. I picked up my first one there last year in a local show, but came back this year. First car tour race, we felt like we had a great car, but luckily or sadly with the tire shortage, we got a bad set of tires for that race. And the next Hickory race, we came back and we finished second to Josh Berry, and then the final one, which was this weekend, we ended up coming with the win, this is the biggest win in my career. The Fall Brawl at Hickory. If you look at the names in the past that I've won it, I'm happy to be able to put my name on that list.
Oh, certainly. And of course, I'm kind of updating your social media real quick. And at Mason Diaz on social media on Facebook, Mason Diaz Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, you got to take care of those social media platforms. And Mason does a phenomenal job at that. Mason, I've seen you in years past down at the Derby, the Snowflake. Are you going down to Pensacola this year? And what other races are you going to be running as we get ready to put a close on the 2021 season? The big NASCAR races are done, obviously, so now you can focus on the late model car.
Yeah, this past weekend was my final late model stock start for the year. We will be going down to the Derby again to try attempt again to get in, which last year we qualified 27th for. But we'll be down there again, and that will close out my season. But full focus right now is on the Classic for Southern National. We just put the entry forms out and focusing on making that show the best there is, and so kind of different helmet put on for that race, kind of promoting it versus, racing it. But I enjoy it as well. But overall, great finish for the late model stock season getting this win, but it's not over with. We'll come back next year.
And in addition to that, we talk about the promoter role. What is that like? Obviously, your dad, Michael Diaz, has for many years handled, along with Charlie Hanson, Southern National Motorsports Park, and putting on races, promoting races. I think Southern Nationals ran 1 or 2 events this year. I think of the Orient that Track Enterprises came in and did, and then of course Kinley, was one of those tracks, and I don't want to go off subject about you and your career, Mason, but Southern National was one of those places where when COVID hit, it got hit really hard. It was kind of hard to get the racetrack back up and going and get people to support it. And one of the biggest things, and I said this myself, I remember as a kid sitting in the grandstands in that small grandstand in Turn 4, even before ever becoming an announcer, to the Thanksgiving Classic, spending the Thanksgiving weekend with my family, going to Kinley on Thanksgiving weekend at Southern National. And lost you shine last year because of COVID, and the last couple of years has been not favorable. I think of was it the
20 race, postponed due to weather, fought weather all weekend long, had to make the race up and run it in March. Obviously, that's not the same. It's not the same. And I know you and your dad, especially your dad, did the best they could to appease everybody. But I know there's definitely a buzz about the return, Mason, of the Thanksgiving Classic. Mason, you with us? I think we lost Mason. Are you back? Are you back with us? Hello, Mason. Well, hopefully we can get him back. Hang on a minute. He had perfect signal. He had a good bars, good signal, everything, and then all of a sudden, cut in and cut out. Well, okay. Well, we can bring it back to me on camera. Show my ugly mug. So there you go. Mason, try to get him back, reconnect with him. If not, we'll go into the next guest. We do have a lot of guests. Matter of fact, obviously, when Matt Hirschman had his issues, that put us behind schedule just a little bit. So it's all good. We'll take it. We'll take this real quick back. So guest 3 is connected. All right. Well, so guest 3 is connected. Mason Diaz, again, big winner, of course, at the Fall Brawl. And we appreciate him joining us on Finish Line. So with that technical issue, I want to say big win. Congratulations to the driver, of course, of the number 24. You heard him say it, $6,000 payday. Biggest win in his career, racing late models. And, of course, Mason Diaz and his father, Michael, they do a phenomenal job. Big race coming up, Thanksgiving Classic. I'm sure as it gets closer to Thanksgiving weekend, we will definitely have him on, Michael on, to highlight what will be the Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National. And in case you didn't get the highlights or the headlines yesterday, it was announced that Racing America, powered by Speed 51 TV, will anchor the Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National. So, oh, well, I don't know what happened. Well, let's go back to the lines here, and we'll get on our next guest, and that's going to be Russell Irwin, guest number 3 today, Commonwealth Bandit, Beaver Dam, Virginia. What are we doing? There we go. This is the right guy. This is the right guy. Well, tell guest 2, I'm sorry. We lost him. I hate it for Mason Diaz. I do. But we got to go right back and catch up with where we left off. And joining us is a 4-time I-95 Challenge Late Model Series champion, a 2020 Fuel Late Model Series champion, and in this year, the 2021 Steel Block Bandit Late Model Series champion. He won that a couple of weeks ago at the Cash Money 100 at Cherokee Speedway. And just a great friend that I've known close to over 2 decades. Russell Irwin, welcome to Finish Line, sir. Good morning to you.
Hey, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I see you. You got a backdrop. I don't care what the backdrop looks like. Just stay connected until the end of our interview, please, because right now we're 0-2 right now for connectivity. So welcome. No, hey, listen, we got one guy outside. We had another guy that seemed in the shop. The internet crash is what it is. Russell, what a man. Champion after champion. I mean, obviously a 4-time series champion. I just mentioned you won the Fuel Series championship. What made the decision to leave the Fuel late models, which you still ran a couple of this year, and go after a Steel Block Bandit championship, and you got it done in fine fashion?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Long put this Steel Block Bandits deal together this year, and the money was just that he was putting out there was phenomenal. So it really, if we were going to continue to run some Steel Block stuff, it really made sense to go ahead and follow his deal and chase that money, and a great points fund that he was putting out there too. So it gave us an opportunity to go to some new racetracks that I've never been to before as well, and I always enjoy rolling into places I've never been to.
It definitely was. And, you think of your success, you think of your career, accolades, all that you've done in your career, Russ. Definitely. I think of County Line. I think of Virginia Way. I think of East Way. You certainly have the right
to now travel. But the traveling life is very difficult, isn't it? Than being, just down the road when you lived in, in Beaver Dam and traveled to East Side Speedway or going to a weekly track. Traveling life is a different avenue, whether you are a driver, whether you are a series sanctioned body, an announcer like I've done for so long, but you enjoy the traveling life. And I think it also shows, Russell, the fan base you have.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoy going to new places. I think we run really, really well for the most part when we, go to a place that we've never been to before. We've always traveled since I started racing, so it's never really gotten that groove of just sticking to one place and just being good at that one place. I've just really focused on being a driver that can adapt to different facilities and different track conditions and stuff like that. So that getting the opportunity to really venture out more this year and travel more with that steel block stuff was I was excited when Jim called me. I think it was maybe last November or December, time he called me and told me he was thinking about putting that deal together, and just to get ask my thoughts on it. And I was actually pretty excited. Told him that if it's a deal he was going to put together, I would support him 100%. Just because of the kind of money that he was talking about paying out, for all these races and the point fund. It's really good for us steel block guys to be able to kind of run for that kind of money.
So where do you feel you are out in your career? We've known each other a long time. Starting running what would be obviously modifieds. Modified racing, has it changed? What's your take of the modifieds on dirt? We just had been on two guests. We got one, the north-south shootout. It's in pavement. It seems like that's on guys. A lot of people are in the modified world, quote unquote, don't say this the wrong way, pissed off with Dirt Car and UMP unveiling of their new modified rules. Is that suffice to say the night day, Russell? Sam Driggers feels they've let the inmates run the asylum, aka the drivers, too long. The rules now, it's got so out of hand. Now the asylum, Dirt Car Racing, is trying to pull the reins back and say, no, this is the way it needs to be, and it needs to be this, and this. And if you don't like it, load up your stuff and leave, as they say. Your take on that and dirt modified racing. Where do you see it's at as we move into 2022 next year, Russell? And you are a former great in the world of modifieds as well.
Yeah, I understand what UMP's doing. This is something they probably should have done 7 or 8 years ago. Really, they're 7 or 8 years late on doing this deal. So now that's gotten so out of control that they're trying to do so much to rein these guys in. And like I said, if they'd have thought about this 7 or 8 years ago, they'd have been ahead of the game and really put a stop to a lot of it. But the modified division definitely needs, what they're doing. It definitely needs to happen. I think. Really, those cars are almost, if you're looking at cost, it's costing almost as much to build one of them cars as it is a late model, and you're racing for a lot less money. So it really, I stepped out of the modified stuff and walked away from it. Probably, it's really gotten out of hand since. Was starting to get out of hand then. So it just, I sold all that stuff and just went full-time late model racing. I really honestly feel like it was the perfect time, with the way everything was going.
Russell Irwin again joining us. Obviously, Irwin Racing Supply and the Commonwealth Bandit is his nickname, but he is just he's somebody that if you ever meet him, he's down to earth. And that's one of the first thing I could say when I first met you in Waynesboro, Virginia at Eastside Speedway. And, you've definitely come a long way in your career. Definitely. Do you like the late model racing better than the modifieds, Russell? Or do you kind of wish you could do both? Or did you feel like when things were starting to go down south per se in dirt modifieds, not saying that it was in trouble, but,
you felt like you needed to make a change and move to the late model car?
Yeah, I mean, my goal was to always, from the first time I got into a race car, my goal was always to end up in a late model. That was where I wanted to be. That's everything that I've done is, and all the work that I've done was to get where I'm at and to be in a late model. The modified stuff, yeah, every once in a while it'd be nice to get back in one and play around a little bit with one of those. But I mean, it's just in the southeast, as far as an open modified or UMP modified or whatever you want to call it, is just really, they're really falling apart. There's not a big following of them guys anymore. You just, Kyle Strickler's not really doing much of the modified stuff. Nick is still doing a lot of the modified stuff, but just not really in this area anymore. So I think a lot of us, Kyle and Nick and myself we used to wage wars when we raced together, in the modifieds. And I think, not only the three of us, but some other guys as well that have kind of, got out of this area. I'm not going to say it's hurt the area, but I mean, it's just that they just don't have the following down here in the southeast like they used to. So I think that's kind of hurt the class around here. So it really, now it doesn't really make any sense for me to really do anything with the modified stuff. If somebody else had a car that was pretty decent piece that was competitive and asked me to maybe drive it a couple of times, I would definitely entertain that.
The Steel Block Bandits Dirt Challenge Series champion joins us here on Finish Line. And, of course, that is the driver of when he picked up the championship this 2021. And, you mentioned Jim Long, Russell, longtime promoter at Fayetteville, and to me and you, acquaintance in the motorsports industry. He's done, I think, Eddie Pollard's done. So many people that are involved in what is the Bandits Dirt Series Challenge program. And you being a native out of Virginia, and I'm sure you're going to catch this segue, it is amazing that they took him that kind of got tarnished a little bit for some people up in Virginia. And they took that name and and made it a positive out of it, because the Steel Block Bandits first time came off of the not Smart Modified Tour, but the Steel Block Mid-Atlantic Auto Racing Tour. I was a part of that series when Chris and Silver won it, and then of course it became what was known as the Steel Bandits. It had its success at first, and things changed, and obviously Long took it in a new era, Russell, and started expanding it, bringing it down to the Carolinas and South Carolina, other places. And your take of, with you being a Virginia native, keeping the Bandits name on a positive level and now being a champion from it.
Yeah, I mean, that the old Steel Block Bandit series, that traveled up this way, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia. That was around when I first got into late models, for the first couple of years anyway. And I think we only ventured out one time and run with them guys. Just because we were racing more down south, and it just seemed like that's where some of the better money was down south. That's kind of where our focus, has been since we've been in the late models. But it was pretty neat. I was kind of waiting, for Jim to announce. I asked him a couple different times, what he was going to name the series, and he said he had a couple different ideas. So when he finally did announce that, it was going to be called the Steel Block Bandit Series, I really, I thought that was kind of neat that he was bringing that back, and to see what he's done in a year, and anybody that's watching this deal and what Jim has done with Fayetteville, you don't have to like him as a person, but as a promoter,
right?
He's done some great things. He with Fayetteville and now with this Steel Block Bandit series, he's really done some awesome things and given guys like myself, that really want to do this steel block stuff, giving us some great places to go race at and some really, really good money to race for. I mean, these 5,000 to win, 500 to start minimum purse deal that he's paying is, it's second to none and better than a lot of the super racing down here in the Southeast for the most part.
Yeah, and what is the cliche here? Is you can bring me back on camera now. I've done posted on the social media, Charles, if you don't mind. I was trying to give you the thumbs up in the communication, but I guess he had so many things going on at once. So it's all good love for you. He got the message received, but I'll say this, man. To carry on what you said, love him or hate him, or disagree with him, you can't attest that Jim Long is a hell of a promoter. And him and his wife, God rest her soul, cancer sucks. She recently passed away with cancer, and the things that I'll say that still impressed me so much that Dina died with cancer, so many times sick. Jim dealing with this as well, the family, the daughter, the entire crew, Black Bandits tour. Somehow, some way, they're able to just, dust themselves off, continue to persevere to help you guys race towards a championship, race towards a win. I think of when, man, Dina passed away. And as soon as Dina passed away, that same weekend, you guys were on the racetrack racing. And I think that just shows you the drive, the passion, the dedication the Long family has to racing and their name to also make sure you guys are not punished per se because of something sad tragically happening. And of course, I know that a lot of people will always remember the good times and remember what Miss Dina Long meant to the racing industry because though her life was short-lived, cancer sucks. Let's be honest. She still, her and her husband Jim, and he still does to this day, keeps this motorsports program going, where several times, Russell, he could have threw in the towel and said, you know what, I got too much going on. I'm dealing with this. You know what? Everybody would have been fine with that. I believe that. I believe he could have said, man, I got so much happen. I can't handle this right now. But instead, Russell, he kept on going with it. Eddie Paul in the game. Eddie Paul had cancer before. Great friend, announcer, flagman. These people give up. And I think iron spirit is what is so special about racing, especially for this series, Russell.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, we were racing that following week, after Dina passed. So it was, I think everybody kind of, everybody knew Jim wasn't going to be around, but I mean, their daughter was there, with the Steel Block Bandit series and all the guys that come together to continue to make sure that this deal kept going. It's pretty amazing, pretty cool to see, how many people just, not have his back, have, the racers back and stuff like that, everybody just kept on trucking and wanted to make sure that we finish this deal out. And, Jim announced at the banquet last weekend that, he's going to continue this deal. He left it up to his daughter and she said, I want to keep doing it. That's what Dina would have wanted. So they're going to keep on going and make that deal even bigger this year.
Final question. We'll let you go. We got David Sell coming up here in a few moments to promote the Misha Sell Memorial. But before I let you go, Russell, any more races this year? Any more events you plan on running for 2021? Are you done in the trailer and ready for 2022? And what is your plans for next year?
I mean, I'm not sure. There's one race on my radar, this year. The car's sitting there. We haven't pulled the motor out to have it freshened or nothing like that yet. So it's sitting there. We're just kind of waiting to see what kind of payout they're going to have for that deal. If it makes sense. It's kind of far for me to travel from where I'm coming from. So I really don't leave the house to go race unless it makes sense and the money's right. And so we're still waiting to get for them to finalize the purse for that deal. As far as next year, we're gonna probably follow Jim's deal for sure. What I do outside of there, I'm not sure. Just kind of bounce around, pick and choose. Jim, I think Jim's planning on starting up in February this year, so we got a short off season. For us, usually we don't start up till middle to end of March. And we're building a new car, so probably keep the old car and go ahead and put another new one together, and try to have two cars for next year.
Well, listen, man, thank you so much for taking the time, Russell, to join us here on Finish Line. Thank you for your friendship in over a decade or more, my friend. And it's so good to see you doing well in not only the modifieds, but the late models and so many other great things you've done in the past. And continued success for you for all of your future endeavors, too, in this industry.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it for sure.
Got anybody want to thank sponsors? Go ahead.
I mean, everybody that supports me. There's so many people that have been on board with us for so long. Definitely Dean and Debbie with High Farms, Michael and Tammy with Dickinson Sanitation, Bia Headers, Schaefer's Oil, Maher and Ag, Masters Built Race Cars for sure. Tater has been good to me for a lot of years. I enjoy working with him, and I think the two of us really see eye to eye with a lot of things that that I want and he wants as well. So it's just everybody. Witten Brothers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Chris Sumner with Nova Race Engines. Man, that he's got this Ford singing. I think it gets everybody's attention every time we unload that thing. So Penske Shocks, just everybody that's on board with us. I'm sure I'm forgetting some for sure. There's a lot. But everybody knows who they are, and just everybody that helps and has been backing me for so many years.
Well, you certainly are the man, Russell, and I know a lot of people around the County Line area, County Line and everything else, definitely remember the name, the Commonwealth Bandit and Russell Irwin. And, we were talking the other week ago with somebody about nicknames, and, the Commonwealth Bandit was something that I gave, and it just stuck, and it's been, just a famous name, and I've seen T-shirts made off of it and everything else. And you are definitely one of the best in modifieds and now late models. And of course, enjoy being the Steel Block Bandit Late Model Series champion. And we appreciate you taking the time to step out of your job and joining us here on Finish Line this afternoon.
Yes, thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
Not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. Russell Irwin, the Commonwealth Bandit, joining us here. And now we're going to go to the Hype Motorsports driver, the number 81 machine. Of course, a lot of success out of that race car. He's been joining us. He's joined us on Finish Line before via audio, but now he joins us on video as well. He picked up the big win of the Show Me the Money Series finale over the weekend at the Montgomery Motor Speedway, and that is the driver, of course, of Jet Nolan. Jet, good morning to you, bud. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, y'all, for having me.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. That number 81 machine was definitely, obviously, on the rails for Anthony Campy Racing on the road to the Snowball Derby. And is it suffice to say, as I bring in the first question to you, my friend, do you feel like you have figured out how to get around Montgomery Motor Speedway maybe better than others have here recently?
I definitely think that Anthony Campy's putting a great car together for me to race, and I think that we've figured out pretty well for Montgomery Motor Speedway, and hopefully that's going to transfer over to Snowball and the Snowflake.
And believe it or not, the road to the Snowball Derby is at the home stretch, like literally less than 30 days away, the 54th running of the Hooters Snowball Derby. Hooters Restaurants announced a couple of weeks ago that they've jumped on board. Of course, if you've not done so, Racing America, powered by Speed 51 TV, will have the event with the most prestigious race in America, the Snowball Derby. By the way, stay tuned for information from Finish Line in regards to the Derby. We have some special cool things coming up in regards to Pensacola in the next couple of weeks, and I think you want to stay tuned for that. But, man, I tell you what, Jet, young man, listen, you are just coming well in your career. You are just climbing the ladder, doing successful. The opportunity to run for Anthony Campy Racing, how special is this? You just mentioned in a little segue intro of, everything's coming for this team, but you look at what Anthony Campy Racing's done. You look at what we've had with Giovanni Bramani, so many other names that have been in the 81 car. What does it mean to, of course, carry on the name for Anthony Campy in what seems to be probably the best pro late models as you run the Snowflake 100 coming up in a few weeks at Five Flags?
Yes, sir. Anthony Campy, he puts a great race car together. Really, everybody on that team does an amazing job, and I'm just so blessed that I can go over there and race their race, be a part of their team, and that make it feel like it's a part of the family as well.
And in addition to that, you also have got Hype Motorsports, Alec Jurgensen, and all the people there behind Hype Motorsports. I really believe that they've took your career to another level on the PR firm. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir. Hype Motorsports has helped me a lot with my PR, with my interview, with everything. They're, in my opinion, they're the best company out there for and getting them ready for the coming up races.
Now, in addition to obviously MPM marketing, I want to give a shout out to Tanya McAllister because she kind of does things like this as well. Hype Motorsports, tell everybody what Hype Motorsports does for you in your racing career now, as well as other drivers, Jet Nolan.
And a bunch of other stuff. Just can't remember at the moment, but they definitely help a lot with my media, and they've definitely boosted my media up since I've started a partnership with them. And I can't thank them enough for taking me on and my career.
Of course, the season has been very exciting for you. Now, running at Montgomery, that is an entirely different Five Flag Speedway. How do you take it? Are you going to take advantage of the testing at Pensacola and the Derby preview? Yeah, obviously the setup, the drive, Montgomery, Five Flags, two totally different animals. They are both half mile. So, what are the similarities and the differences that you possibly Tom Dawson Trophy coming up December?
The similarities are that the Montgomery's a little on tires, in my opinion, like Pensacola, but just really testing is what's helping me out a lot. Just getting the car on the track and getting myself on the track and just getting ready for the Derby preparation with the team and just making sure everybody's on the same page with going into the Derby.
Well, obviously, we have we're at the home stretch of the season. The pinnacle obviously is the Snowball Derby, but have you started working on plans to get 22? Seem like you're going to be in the 81 racing for a lot longer. Jet Nolan, can you tell us what some of your plans are moving into speed weeks of next year?
Yes, sir. We should be running next year. The schedule's not out yet 100% on what we're going to be doing, but I'm 100% sure they're going to be running the super late models along with a few pro late models next year. But as of that, that's about all that I really know.
All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to join us, man. This show has flew by so quickly. It seems like these guys on and we get them off fast. So I do want you to thank your sponsors, young man, and Nolan's Roofing Company, obviously Anthony Campy Racing, so many people that helped you out with your big win over the weekend at Montgomery Motor Speedway. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Finish Line this afternoon. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you thank your sponsors, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear you. I'd like to thank Nolan's Roofing, Cypress Ridge Hunting Preserve, Hype Motorsports, and Southern Creek Clothing Company for all the support they gave me throughout the year. And hopefully leading into next year, we'll have a great race car going into 2022. And I can't thank those sponsors enough for all the hard work that we put in.
Certainly, my friend. Young man, for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Go get them at the Snowball Derby in Pensacola, and appreciate you, as always, being on Finish Line. And also, thanks to Alec Jurgensen with Hype Motorsports on your PR firm for setting you up to be on the program today.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Not a problem, buddy. There again, that's Jet Nolan. We need to take a quick break, obviously, because we're completed the first hour. David Sell is next. We talk about the Misha Sell Memorial, and it is back. All these other guests, Josh Louder, all on the way. But we do need to take a break, thank our sponsors. We'll be back with whoever's next on Finish Line. Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having to go around from side to side to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
Music in my ear. I'm kind of. Come on, Mr. Engineer. Give me some beat to jam to. Come on. Just kind of. It's Wednesday. You've had a long day. Just kind of. Hey. Not the intro music and the outro music. What's wrong with you? You ruined me. Listen, I was talking about just kind of jamming, man. Come on. So, welcome back to Finish Line. I was talking to our producer off air, and I was like, man, this whole hour just flew by. And we had some good guests. We had some bad guests. I just need to take a sip of a drink real quick, okay? See, you see this. I got to cover our, they don't sponsor us, so I'm not going to sponsor them, but. Don't go there, engineer. I can't hear you. Let's go back to the phone lines. And joining us is the young man out of Archdale, North Carolina. He picked up a big win at the North-South Shootout. We had Matt Hirschman on to kick off Finish Line earlier in hour number 1. We're in hour number 2 now. You see how damn fast this show flies, really? Getting on the line now is Josh Louder. Josh, welcome to the show, my friend. Big win for you in Pro Late Models at Caraway Speedway. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, man. Hey, listen, so who is Josh Louder? How did you get your racing career started? And obviously a big win in the Southern States Pro Late Model Series, besides just the guy that's on the screen. Let everybody know about you and who Josh Louder is.
Yeah, I've been racing since 1996 when I started in go-karts at 8 years old. And from there, we did that till I was about 18. Then we moved to racing cars at Caraway in the limited late model division and did that for a long time, dabbled around in the modifieds, 602 modified some, and really got into the straight rail cars in the pro late model deal about 2 years ago and had some success with the PRA series, and that kind of went away. Then Keith Graham opened up the Carolina Pro Late Model Series, so we joined that and ran a few races with them. Ran most of the races with them this year, and I really took a big liking to the straight rail cars.
I want to open this door. I want to get your thoughts on it because you mentioned the name Keith Graham, and Keith is a friend of mine. Keith and his wife, what they've done with the Carolina Pro Late Model Series. Obviously, the Cars Tour announced about a month or so ago they're doing away with the super late models. Go figure, who would have thunk that? They're now branching into a pro late model program. You have obviously what was the Southern States Pro Series that was sanctioned at the event at Caraway at the North-South Shootout. We just announced last week, I believe it was around this time, that Steve Zacharias and the people from South Carolina at Florence Motor Speedway have created the new All-Pro Limited Late Model Series. Too many roosters in the hen house? How are we all going to work together? How are the tracks going to work together? I've been talking with promoters about this. I was actually talking with somebody about it yesterday on the phone. Your take as a driver of how you're going to be able to pick and choose or run where you want to run at, or do you feel like maybe these sanctioning bodies, Josh, need to sit down and have what they call back in the tribal days a powwow and come to some type of agreement?
Yeah, I personally believe it's going to be hard to compete with the Cars Tour for any other series with the purse they're paying. I think they have the best thing going. Keith has a real good series going. It's affordable to run, being able to run the 602 and the 2-tire deal. And I don't know, they don't conflict on a lot of dates, so we're going to try to bounce between them both of them, and run some Cars Tour races and the Pro Late Model with the Carolina Pro Late Model Series. So we'll be trying to hit both of those, and then, of course, any race we can that Southern States holds at Caraway.
How much work, Josh, goes behind the technical side of things? We were kind of talking about it on the dirt side with Russell Irwin earlier about what Dirt Car did with the people in the modifieds. Is it really hard to go from a straight rail car to obviously a tube chassis suspension to do all of these things? We mentioned these names on the air, and it sounds like easy words, but in the technical side of things, this is a headache. So how hard can it be technical-wise, Josh, for you and your crew to run, let's say, on the Carolina Pro Late Model Series with Keith Graham, and then the next week or 2 weeks later try to rebuild the car or tech your car to make sure that it meets the specifications of the Cars Pro Late Model Tour rulebook now?
Yeah, the good thing about that is for both series with the Cars Tour and the Carolina Pro Late Model Series is you can run the 604 crate motor in both series. So the only thing that we would have to change, that they're the same weights and all, so the only thing we would have to change on the car to go from one weekend with the Carolina Pro Series to a Cars Tour race is just the carburetor. So which that's easy to do. So there's not really a whole lot we would have to change. Just change that carburetor and go on.
Yeah, actually sounds a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I made that kind of a big stink for nothing. Actually, I kind of feel bad. So, but the thing is, you take the carburetors, you take the restrictions to your crate engine. You can be in a 604, you can't be in a 602. The carburetor factors. There's so many things that I don't think the powers that be as a race fan, and I've said this, Josh, I've said this humbly, and I sincerely mean this as no disrespect to anybody out there. I'm not trying to talk dummy to anybody as an announcer. The majority of a race fan out there, Josh, does not know the difference between a 602 late model engine to a super late model engine. They really don't. We know, the series and the big people that know the industry know the difference, but the average race fan, to a kid, to keep these kids in racing, you got to take them to the racetrack. They just think it's a late model car.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, there's a whole lot of difference in horsepower between the two than a super late model engine and a 602 engine, but I think the 602 engine's a little, it's obviously a lot easier to drive. They don't have the power, so you don't have to have quite the throttle control on the exit of the corner as you do with the big engines. But but that helps make for good racing too, because everybody's more I think equal when we're all running the 602 crate. So, it's not as much tire management involved in it.
Obviously, back to your win over the weekend, Josh. This had to be the biggest win of your career at the North-South Shooting to win an event that is prestigious for modifieds, but what Darren Hackett is also doing now to make it a big moment for the pro late model guys as well, and you winning that race.
Yeah, yes. That's actually our second time winning it. We won it when they had it at Hickory with the PRA tours in 2019.
Okay, my
We
apologies.
won that
Okay,
shootout that weekend, and then we won it again at Caraway. And that was a date that I really wanted to hit. I like that race. It's always a big show. I think it's Caraway's biggest show of the year. And Caraway's 15 minutes down the road from us, and I've raced there for 15 years. So any opportunity I get to go race at Caraway, I'm going to. I love that place. It's my home track.
Hey, Josh, there's a big race coming up this weekend, and that is the return of the Misha Sell Memorial. Matter of fact, David Sell joins us next to talk about that race for the limiteds. Limiteds are like pro late models. Are you going to plan to make that attempt to try to go for that big event this Saturday at Caraway Speedway?
Yeah, we are, but not in the pro car. David's deal is more of a limited late model, it's a perimeter chassis car. I don't think they're going to allow any straight rail cars in it. But we do have 2 602 modifieds, and we're going to bring one of them out for it probably.
There you go. Listen, and you can bring me back up here on the monitor if you want to. Josh Louder is joining us here. The perimeter and the straight rail cars. We talked about that. We talked about the technical aspect of things. Obviously, we know there's a war going on in the pro late models, but definitely right there again, Josh, there's a battle in modifieds, especially in the 602 market. Yep. Your take on that, my friend, as a driver?
Yeah, the 602 modifieds they're affordable to run if you want to get in modified racing, and that little engine and them things 2,600 pounds. They're fast. They're really fast. I think last weekend they were only about 1 second off the Tour modifieds, which is pretty impressive for a motor that's got 300 less horsepower. So they're a ton of fun to drive, and they're really, really growing here in North Carolina. Keith Graham's got that series going for the crate modifieds. It's growing. Caraway's been running their 602 modified deal, and I think they had around 15 cars that showed up for the North-South shootout for it. And I think David Sale's going to have 15 or more also. So it's really cool to see that taking off around here and have a cheaper way to do modified racing.
Josh, do you feel we are in a time now? And I've said this before with other people in the other friends, sports industry colleagues. Do you feel time now where in maybe modifieds, maybe pro late models, we got to go away from the weekly racing? And I know that's sad to say, but is it time to possibly look at just putting them on a touring level or look at running them for big races? Because henceforth, you look at Ace, you look at Caraway, you look at Soba, run 602 mods in the Southeast, and it's like a big money race. You're not competing against anybody. You're lucky. And I said this is truth, Josh. You get 3 to 5 cars. Sometimes,
yep.
I mean, we've done races this year where we've had 602 modifieds. I feel bad for Lee Jeffries and Rich Hunter. And by the way, Lee Jeffries won the 602 mod race at Caraway. He had other obligations going on this week, and that's why we couldn't have him on the show. But, I mean, it's time for the pros to put more money in driver's pocket. Do you feel like if we done that, maybe the tracks work an alliance to try to work with each other, that's going to build the car count? Your take on it as a driver, Josh?
Well, I don't know. I personally like the touring series and getting to go run different tracks. I mean, that's a lot of fun to me to get to do that. Keith's tried this deal with the Carolina crate modifieds, and some nights we've had decent car count, some nights not so much. But it proved to me that last weekend at Caraway and with David's race coming up this weekend that the modifieds are out there. So I don't know if it's the purse or the tire rules or what that's not bringing them to the racetrack, but they're out there. We got to figure out how to get them to the track, whether it's pay more money or run different tracks. I don't know, but the cars are there. Let's figure out how to get them to the track.
And obviously, you picked up a big win over the weekend. You had a great event, of course, at winning formally also at Hickory Motor Speedway. Do you feel like, and I know this is the late model side of it, but South Shootout deserves to be at home at Caraway? I mean, obviously Concord is where it started. Concord's gone, people. Just being honest. We're not going to get Concord back. I announced there as well. I remember the memories. I remember going there as a kid watching the Big Ten Super Late Model Series. We know Concord's done. But does it just seem that Caraway is the best place for the North-South Shootout, especially for the racing that it provides, whether it's modifieds, Josh Louder, or even one of these pro late model events you won?
Yeah, I'm probably a little biased on that because Caraway is my home track, but I love seeing it at Caraway. Caraway is a great track. In my opinion, it's one of the best that we have in North Carolina. It's the closest thing we got to a half mile, I believe, here on asphalt. And the racing at Caraway is good, and especially in these pro late models, you can really turn Caraway into a 2-groove track and run on the outside there or the inside and be successful either way. And that track's fun. It's fast. It's got 2 unique corners in it that makes it a difficult track to get a good setup around. 2 totally different corners. I just love that place. It's a great place. I think Darren Hackett does a good job putting on the North-South Shootout this year. It was a really big show, and it was good to see for Caraway. I hope it continues to be at Caraway.
Final question, Bud. Have we got our next person in? By the Everybody's connected. Everybody's jumping the gun, jumping on top of one another here. And that's what happened, by the way, to Mason Diaz. We had Mason on, and somebody jumped in the gun, and they popped in too early, and they booted poor Mason off. So, but by the way, we'll get Mason and Michael Diaz on later on for the Thanksgiving Classic. Hey, by the way, speaking of Keith Graham and the Carolina Pro Late Model Series Thanksgiving Classic, they're going to be a part of that event with the modifieds, with the pro late models. Are you going to be at that race coming up Thanksgiving weekend, Josh?
Yes, we are. My dad's leading the points in the modifieds with Keith Series right now, so we've got to be there in the modified. We're going to be gearing up to go run that thing.
That's going to be our man. Well, listen,
championship night.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I was going to say that as well, for sure, Bud. Definitely, man. Well, listen, congratulations, 2-time winner now at the North-South Shootout for the pro late models, of course, at Caraway Speedway in Hickory. And we appreciate you taking the time to join us on Finish Line. I know you got a 9-to-5 job. Don't you work in construction? Is that what you do, construction?
Yeah, we're framing contractors and we do steel. So.
Well, I must say, if you frame that, it's your backdrop there, house. That is really damn. That's a lot of really good architecture right there that's done for
Thank
sure.
You.
So, Josh, let you go, my friend. Thank your sponsors, and we appreciate you being on Finish. We'll see you this weekend at Caraway, buddy. I'll be there announcing that event on Saturday.
All right, great. I appreciate you having me. Just got to thank Louder Construction, Louder Steel for helping me do this. And a big thanks to Jeff Foltz over at Fury Race Cars for helping me get that car set up and on a rail to win that North-South Shootout for the second time.
Yeah, Jeff Foltz is the man, dude. That guy's still kicking for sure. He had his heyday in race cars, and he still is involved in the industry, definitely. So big shout out to him as well. So, well, listen, Josh, congratulations to you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on Finish Line.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. Josh Louder, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I didn't want to go off subject on the topic, talking about these pro late models and talking about the rivalry, the battles that are going on. But listen, you hear a driver's take on it. And that's why I wanted to get him on here. Not only to talk about his win, for sure, definitely, because it's special to win the race. But something has to be done here with these pro late models. There needs to be, what did I say, producer? A powwow, like they did back in the tribal days, in the Indian days, an Indian powwow. Yes, as you said, you go and say, I'm not even going to go there, Charles. But anyhow, there needs to be a powwow. There needs to be a sit down, as they say in the mafia. There needs to be definitely some type of a conversation done where these guys can come to terms to try to work with one another. And the sad reality is I know that there are tracks that I've talked to. There's promoters that I talk to that have literally said, okay, guys, let's extend an olive branch here. Let's try to work with each other. Other promoters, other tracks, other series. They just got to find a way to meet in the middle. You know, I love everybody. And, and I love all forms of racing. But when there is a competing against each other, and then you have what I mean, and no disrespect happening now, because sadly this is what's taking place. You've got these guys literally fighting over, well you're going to bring these cars, well I'm going to up this purse. Well, you're going to run on this date, well guess what, I'm going to run on this date against you. What happened to schedules? What happened to trying to work with each other? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Help your fellow man. This cutthroat industry of motorsports doesn't have to be cutthroat. Try to work with each other. Because if we don't, the people that are going to end up hurting in the end is going to be the race fan and the people like Josh Lauder, the driver. And then when that happens, it's a matter of survival of the fittest, who's got the most money in their bank account. And tracks are going to start closing down if this doesn't stop. So hopefully somebody can take this little segment piece that I have. Maybe Charles, you can seg this out and play it. Put it out there. Send it, make it viral, because it's the damn truth. We need to have tracks and series and people work together. And it's not just on the pro late models. I've seen it on dirt. I've seen it on pavement. Late model stocks are in their own little world right now. You know, what's going to happen? What's going to happen before we get David Sell on? What would happen if Jack McNally with the Cars Tour has someone else come back with a late model stock series? What if Kerry and Wink Bodenhammer, who are great people, brought back the UARA Stars? Everybody remembers how damn successful UARA was. What if somebody else had the crazy idea of, well, they're doing a late model stock series, well, I'm going to do one against them now. And then you're all back to square one. And in the pro late models, because I feel that is affordable and people are taking advantage of that. But that racing where it is hurting. Too much money is now going into pro late models, and it's hurting our industry. So definitely somebody's got to wise up. They got to get together. They got to sit down. They got to talk. I'm Wesley. I'm shutting up. My rant is over. David Sell is on the line now, and he joins us to talk about the biggest limited race in the country. It is back. I've known him for many, many years. Mr. David Sell, the Misha Sell Memorial. And this 7th edition returns back to Caraway Speedway. David, welcome to Finish Line, sir. Good morning, or good afternoon to you.
Good buenas tardes. Good to see you, Wesley. Hey, I'm going to correct you. I'm going to correct you so you won't make the mistake. My wife's name was Misha and not Misha, but everybody says that. But if she was here, she would be mad at you. So
Misha. I said
Misha.
Misha. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's just the South. It's the South in me. I'm sorry. But
yeah,
I mean no disrespect, David.
No, I know you don't. Everybody does it. I like to correct people because it reminds me when she used to correct everybody. So, you know.
Well, I promise you this. This weekend, I am the announcer for your event. I will make damn sure that I do not say Misha by accident. It's Misha Sell. So I'm going to stand in the mirror when we go off the air on Finish Line and practice saying her name right.
All right. But it's fine. So I just like pulling the chain on that.
So listen, the Misha Sell Memorial is a special event in the limited late model industry. Talk about, Misha and what she meant to you, not only in your career, in your relationship, but also what making this race is all about and why it's so special and why you decided to bring it back after close to 5 years.
Yeah, I think I was gone 3 years. I had to go through my own personal stuff. And while I was adjusting my life and everything, I had to get back to where I needed to be before I could do anything successful for anybody else. But I started the race. Basically, she was 37 when she passed away. She was a cancer victim too. And I mean, it's kind of like cancer affects everybody. It's not just me and my family. It's everybody. I mean, it will always touch people. So, I was like, she was absolutely blown away by the support that the racing community showed her during her sickness. I mean, she was like mesmerized by how many people took care of things, just doing different things for her and mention her. So I wanted to memorialize her in the way that racers would like, and having a race like this, it's like if you go to Dwight Huffman race or Bobby Isaac, a lot of us people didn't know Dwight like that. I didn't know Dwight, but I went to the race. I didn't know Bobby at all. But it's a nice way to keep a person's memory and their name alive, more than anything. I don't expect, some guys to come and know anything about her, but just to have her name mentioned, I think that's a cool way, to keep it going for her. Not really for me, but just, so she wasn't forgotten by the world. So that's kind of how I thought. And, I ran limiteds because, I was a low budget guy that didn't have money for late models. And, Martinsville, of course, is the huge late model race. And at the time, there wasn't a big special set alone any kind of event for a limited guys. Now I know Hickory had 25 cars last week, and that's great. And but it wasn't anything special for the limited guys. And so that's why I wanted to go, with the limiteds. And the first 4 years we was at Ace, and then that's when Ace was going through trouble before Jason and Robert stepped in. And then I took it with Diaz over to Southern National. And then the year after that, after I started the 2602 tours, I was going to make it like the crown jewel event of the 602 limiteds before I ended up, selling to the Hackett's. And so the last year we was going to East Carolina, and we didn't have a lot of guys, which I expected that, but I think Wesley Johnson won that day. So that was something cool. And what's cool about bringing it to Caraway, me and Randy Myers have always been friends. I consider him my mentor as anything. I mean, I've watched Randy do good, and I've watched mistakes he's made, and I've learned. And, so me and Darren get along well. So I figured that since Jason doesn't really like to run a lot of Saturday races at Ace, that I would bring it here on a Saturday. And that's how we ended up at Caraway. And the interesting thing is nobody's entered this won it before. So I've had 6 different winners. So this will be the 7th different. Whoever wins this time will be the 7th different winner. And I really like that because it spreads the whatever you want to call it, the trophy, the money, the notoriety. It spreads it around for a little bit of everybody instead of the same person or 2 women all the time. So,
well, they say spread the wealth, spread the love, share the love, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And and when I structure my purses, I've always I looked at the tour that I started. I looked at the mods and the super limiteds. I look at this event. A guy like me, honestly, when I show up at the track, I'm not looking at what the winner pays. I'm looking at what it pays to start because I'm going to lose some money. I'm just looking, see how much it's going to be. So I try to pay as well as I can throughout the bag, but you still got to pay well enough that people want to win the race too. But I don't want to pay a winner $1,500 and pay a guy $75 that finished 25th. I mean, I don't like that. So I try to always start it at 200, and as I get sponsors to come on, I don't make any money. If a sponsor gives me $1,000, I put it straight back to the racers or to awards or something. So the more people I have involved, the more money I pay back. So.
Hey, by the way, this is a rescheduled race. Obviously, do you feel like the weather forecast looks really damn good for this upcoming weekend? A lot improved than it was on Halloween weekend because it was scheduled for October the 29th and 30th, and we had to postpone it because of the weather. Weather looks really good, and I think there's been a lot more tires that have come in to allow the opportunity, David, to have more cars to come for this event. Did you ever think we'd come to a time in Did you ever think we'd come to a time in racing, David, where the possibility of the shortage of parts would become some of the outcomes of postponements or cancellations of events?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen that for years. I mean, you've seen it with the 603 motors. That wasn't even meant to be a race motor, and as they kind of depleted it, now tracks are scrambling. I think, who is it? Sobo, Bowman Gray, they were 603 tracks. And now they have to restructure because of that motor. I saw the foresight of that. And when I decided to start the tours, I figured the best way to do was to go back to a 602. Now, tires,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. You see, either they're going to get in a price war with each other and somebody's going to come out on top, or like this, it might be a shortage of materials that causes it. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's coming, and people ain't going to like it, but carburetors are going to go away and fuel injectors are going to come in. Then fuel injectors are going to go away and electronic racing is going to come in. It's going to happen. It probably won't happen by the time I die, but in 2100, we ain't going to be racing carbureted race cars. I mean, so it's just how the world is. It just advances, and you got to.
Do you feel, David? You kind of opened this door. I'm going to kick it in. Do you feel like in the future NASCAR is going to be on electric cars? Do you feel racing?
I ain't going to say the NASCAR's premier division will be, but I guarantee you they'll have a fifth series or a fourth series that'll be an electric series, because I like the Formula One E series as much as I do the Formula series. It's exciting, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I mean, a lot of people don't want to see electric cars because I hear guys say they like to hear the rush of the motor, hear the motors, smell the gas and stuff like that. But also you have to look at it, your wife and your little kids might not like the noise. So electric racing may be right up their alley, and you may garner more fans. So we can't be blind. We can't be blind to technology and say absolutely not. You just kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel everything evolves. I feel everything evolves. Everything goes through a transition. Things change. And then within change, people change. We're going to change as people. You're going to change as a person. You're going to look at things differently. That's one of the, and I don't want to go off subject of racing here, David, but I always remember my dad telling me this. And I used to say, Dad, you're crazy. A person's mind is a person's mind. But my dad used to always tell me, he said, son, you're going to grow up. And what you think in the age of 21 is going to be different than what you thought at 18. Your mindset from 30 years old is going to be different at 25. Your mindset at close to 40 years old, where I'm at now at 38, is going to be different than where you were when you were 25 or 30 years old for that matter. So it happens. It just happens with us as people evolving, maturing, dealing with the things that we deal with in life for sure. And I don't want to go off subject on the racing side of things, but it makes sense, David. It does. And the thing is either you get on the boat and you adapt to it, or you're going to get the hell left behind. That's what's going to happen.
Right. And I agree with what you said before. I've said this for years. What needs to happen, and I would love to be the broker of this deal. Alliances need to be formed between tracks and promoters. And I don't, what I've noticed, and I'm going to just talk about all track owners that I've met. They all want to be the winner. They all want to be number one. They want to be the biggest, baddest. But to survive for everybody, people need to try to work together. We don't have to, like, one track doesn't need to kowtow down, but, we need to be, more empathetic to what's going on. And it's like when this race got moved back, it messed with Anthony and Andy a little bit at Coastal Plains. And I'm awesome. I plan on going there, hopefully for the New Year's race to race. I mean, but I hate, but when stuff does that, we need to have discussions so we're not mad. When I look at what's happening down there, I don't really see anybody that would have came to my race that I lost. I don't know. I kind of feel like they probably didn't lose anybody and we're so far away. But if it would have been a situation where it was a Ace Caraway situation, it would have affected each track.
Exactly right.
So I mean, it needs to be a summit, a powwow, just where everybody, I mean, it needs to be informal. Jason Turner has this thing he started up called the Pocket Change League, Poker League. What we all need to do is we need to play some poker one night, drink some beers and some moonshine, and sit around and talk to each other honestly and be mad a little bit and be happy a little bit, and everybody figure out what can we do. Motor rules need to be simplified. I mean, tire rules, weights. I mean, it's just all these little things just need to be simplified and brought together. So
I listen, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And and here's the thing, what gets me is it's like the person that bitches about NASCAR, David. Here's a prime example, and I'm not, and no, I want to let everyone know the thoughts and opinions on David are David and myself alone. We're not bashing,
Right. I'm
the
not bashing
networks.
nobody.
We're not bashing anybody. iHeartRadio, Community Radio Network, Fox Sports Radio, Charles, any LSRTV production. These are all thoughts, and these are our thoughts and our thoughts alone, in our opinions. You know, it's like the person that bashes NASCAR, David. It's the same. You know, I had somebody a few weeks ago that was bashing the Texas race, and they were like, you know, oh, this was the worstest race NASCAR had at Texas, blah, 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 blah. You know, people need to look at the Formula One race at Austin. There was more people watching the Austin race. But if you want to be blunt about it, you want to look at numbers and facts. The Nielsen TV ratings had more people watching NASCAR than watching the Formula One race. Now, yes, there might have been a bigger fan turnout, a sellout, if you will, for Formula One, and I think it's because it is what is the word? It's a novelty. You don't see Formula One in America like you see NASCAR all year long. Just being honest with that.
Right.
Formula One
Well,
comes 1 or 2 times a year.
yeah. Well, and the thing
So,
about the Formula One race, it was viewed in the world more than in the U.S., but the U.S. had a bigger
sure.
audience. But it's because Formula One is pretty much a worldwide sport, where NASCAR is a
Yes.
United States sport, and that's the only reason. I mean, I actually like both disciplines. I mean, they're different. I mean, they're the same, but they're different. So
I agree with you
yeah.
on that. We've got a few more minutes with David Sell coming up. We're going to go in the hot seat with Andy Marquise and Anthony David Goodyear, who he just mentioned a few moments ago. The Solid Rock Carriers battle at the Stars is going to be the battle of the Stars this weekend. Goodyear All-American Speedway this weekend. Also, the Misha, Mika Sell Memorial is coming up. So the Misha. I'm gonna think of Michelin
I'm gonna tell you
tires.
how to remember, because I got chastised once. I remembered it like this: I miss you. There's a way
I
to
miss you.
remember. Yeah, there you
I
go.
miss you. The Misha Cell Memorial, and you don't want to miss it this
Yeah,
weekend
there
at
you go.
Caraway
Yeah.
Speedway
And
for sure.
I'll promote it.
David, so did that what we were just talking about? Because I
Right.
consider you a promoter. I mean, man, we used to hang out together at PRI. We used to sit down. I remember one of the coolest times ever was when me and you went to the Donnie O'Shea restaurant right across to the convention center, and we talked about so many ideas about 4 or 5 years ago. You've
Right.
been involved in not just racing, but you've been involved in the motorsports apparel side of things, doing clothing. There were so many things that you were a part of, and then you just stopped. What made you stop, and then what made you decide to bring it back this year?
I'll be honest with you. What happened is I had a big heartbreak in my life that just destroyed what I was doing as a dude. You know what I'm saying? If anybody's ever went through that, you know how that'll just stop you in your tracks and make you reanalyze. So,
Right.
and then I had some medical stuff going on. So I had to put that as all at the same time. I had this stuff. And my heart, when I sold the tours, my heart really wasn't in being in too much racing. And it just kind of went along where, I still have my racing friends and, guys I talk to, you'll see Kirk Sheets running this weekend. And, me and him is really close. If we're not best friends, we're really close to being it. So,
Sure.
and, so, I've never been super far away. Me and Brad Robbins, for instance, me and Brad are really good friends. Me and Robbie Brewer, there's a lot of people that I consider good friends. And so I've never been so far away. I just haven't want to be involved. And then I was thinking earlier in the spring, I was like, okay, I feel better mentally and emotionally. I'm been healing myself over the last few years. And I was like, and this is a nice event, and it's still something that the limited guys don't get to compete in a lot, and
Right.
so
right.
I said, let me figure out what I need to do to bring this back. And then, I started trying to, just promote, see how many people were interested and things like that. And, I think I'll have like between 13 and 15 mods, and I've got 26 limited signed up. I had one last night, but I know that Richard Caldwell out of Motor Mile, he had some issues. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. And, a few guys I know have pulled out, but, for the most part, I think I'll be at that 20 to 25 car range, And
But that's good, though. That's good, though, for this time of year. Am I right? I mean, come on.
Well, as a promoter, I could have 70 and I'd be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it's great to have 25. Even it's great to have 20 guys. And I was fortunate enough to be able to procure a ride. So I ain't driven in 5 years, and I'm going to come race. So, and it's yeah. So if you hear Mike Honcho, that's me. My name ain't David Sale when I race. It's Mike Honcho. So you have to say that under the driver introduction. So.
Oh my goodness! I am so. Let me write that down right now.
Well, it's on the driver's list. I'll give you the driver's list. Yeah. So I mean, people. I was just talking to Hunter. To Dylan Newsom's dad, and he just finds that hilarious. And I've done that for years. It's kind of like if you know the joke, it's funny, and if you don't, it's not. But I'm not one that cares about if David Sale does anything. I want Mike Honcho to do good. So,
Well, if people do not know who Mike Honcho is, he was the guy that was in the movie Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby, and there is a funny scene in the hospital with John C. Reilly, who plays, Cal Naughton Jr., aka. Mike Honcho one time in his life in a magazine. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go any further. We have to be professional here.
Watch the video and they'll understand. But some people have no clue. Well, I mean, one year, I think the last year at Ace, I ran the memorial race. My name was Turd Ferguson for that race. And so Tyler had to call me Turd Ferguson. He still calls me Turd Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson?
Yeah, you remember on Saturday Night Live when Tom Hanks was playing Jeopardy and his name was Turd, and one of his answers. No, it was the guy that was playing Burt Reynolds, and that was his name on the show. He made him call him Turd Ferguson. I always thought that was funny.
So. Our producer says, "Well, there goes my appetite for chicken wings later." Turd Ferguson.
There it is.
Well, so David, let's get back on subject here. David, with this race, could we see you possibly come back and get back into the racing industry promoting again, or is it just this Miss Giselle Memorial? Is this pretty much is your? If this is any promoting, this is the only thing you'll do.
Well, I don't want to say yes or no because I don't know because, I mean, I agree life changes. I mean, I'm a different person at 55 than I was at 45, 35, 25. And so everybody meets Yoda in their life that becomes like a mentor, an inspiration to them. And, so it's maybe I'll do more. I've got iron. People always ask me to do things, but I don't know if I want to, because if I do it with somebody, if I help somebody, if I promote something, I want to do it from the heart and I want to make it successful, and I don't want to do it just because it's, a novelty or I might make a couple of bucks here and there. I don't care about that. I'd rather do it that I care about it, and that's why, my door and my phone's always been open to anybody that wants my opinion or my advice or anything or my ideas. I don't mind sharing them because, if I help somebody and they become successful, then I'm successful also, so I don't have to, always be in the forefront. So that being said, I don't know. Maybe I'll do this next year. Maybe I won't. I mean, I can't honestly say. I mean, so.
If you do the Miss Giselle Memorial again, will it stay at Caraway Speedway? Do you feel like that's where it needs to stay? That just it's a special place for you being there?
Well, I'm torn, because I was a Bowman Gray and then an Ace competitor, and I'm definitely never would take it to the stadium. They wouldn't have it, but I wouldn't want to take it there anyway. And me and Jason are friends, and I love being at Ace. I like Darren and I like Randy a lot. I went to Southern National. It didn't mean as much at Southern National for the only reason that the competitors didn't know her. The fans didn't even know me, so I don't think I need to go farther east with it, So, I'd say if I did it, it would be at Caraway or at Ace, and I don't want to step on any of them's toes and be, like I won't do it there, I won't do it the other one. But if I do it, it would definitely be at one of the two, So, but I like Caraway, and the thing I do like about Caraway is it's a bigger, faster track. And I like it's a little bit more of a challenge for some guys that's never been there, So I kind of I like them for different reasons. I mean, but I don't want to say where, but if we have a successful, he makes money. I mean, people come out, they enjoy it. I mean, I've got a couple of ideas that I want to implement. I don't know if they're going to be this race, but I'm always trying to implement stuff in racing that I don't see other people do. And I don't mind if it gets copied. Well, I mean, the cone, I will tell you, the cone is the best thing that happened in racing. And I can't stand the operators of the stadium a lot of times, but they came up with that. No, Randy did. I will say Randy Myers actually came up with it at Friendship. So he was the inventor, and then it went to the stadium and they implemented it. Now everybody uses it. And that's a great thing, so I don't even know how I got off on that.
And actually, here's the true story, David. It started from the summer shootout at Charlotte in Atlanta with the Legends and the Bandoleros. That's where it started from back in the early 2000s. Yeah. And that's where it implemented. And now you're seeing NASCAR's Premier Series use it. I mean, we can call it the cone. You can call it the choose rule. We call it the choose rule in dirt racing when we do fast track races. You inside, outside, choose inside, outside. Well, it's the same thing. You put a damn orange line on the track and there's your cone, and you pass the cone, you hit the cone, you get penalized.
That's the best rule.
David, they had to have done something right because you're seeing NASCAR's Premier Series do it, like you said, and it makes it entertaining.
It's great for drivers. I mean, sometimes when I'm mired back there in 20th and we go to single file and I can't even see the leader take the green, that's frustrating. But to be stacked up and be, doubled up 10 rows behind and I can still see him, I might not catch him, but it makes you feel good. And, you can get around some slower guys. They can get around you without having to move people. So I love that rule. That is one of my favorite rules ever in racing. I'm going to tell you what I also miss racing back to the green. I hate that we don't race back to the green. I mean, that was my favorite thing because I used to gain a lot of positions on that. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, David Sell, a.k.a. Mike Honcho, a.k.a. Turd Ferguson. Thank you for joining us on Finish Line. Before I let you go, David, let everybody know the schedule of events, if you can, real quickly, all the stuff.
Yeah, we got an all-day practice Saturday. I don't know if the fans care about that, but it'll be 12 to 8. And then Sunday we'll start. Friday. And then Saturday we'll start. The racing starts at 3, I think on-track festivities about 2:15, and it'll only be a few. I purposely only wanted to have 3 divisions because I really think that people want to get into the track and get out and not be mired there for 8 and 10 hours. So there's going to be U-Car racing, then there'll be 100-lap green flags for limiteds, and there'll be 63 laps for the modifieds, and then there'll be a 12-lap U-Car feature, and that's it, and we're out. So hopefully people can get in and get out and have a good time and, have a good experience because I just don't have good experiences from my friends that go to races that are there for 8 and 10 hours. They don't like that. And hopefully promoters are listening to that. But I know they have to help supplement their back gate. But at the same time, we got to take care of the fans that actually come for it too. So.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Definitely. And, in closing, David, what would you like to say if anybody did not know who Misha Sell Memorial was and, who Misha Sell was and why this race means so much to you and your wife? And I do want to say in closing, hashtag cancer sucks. There's so many people we've lost to cancer. Cancer is a vicious circle. You might not have had a family member, but you've had a friend, you've had a loved one, you've had somebody's their friend, their family member. It just seems like it is a deadly disease that, damn it all, I wish we could find a cure for. And, like you said, a memorial race, I've always said, is to pay homage and respect to somebody that is a special person or somebody that meant something to an industry. And I think that that's your thoughts of Misha as well. Your final take on it. We'll let you go, David.
Yeah, I mean, she was my wife. She's my life partner. And, if I could just do a little something to just help her, help people know who she was. I can't tell the story of her to every person I know, But hopefully people will come. And if somebody said, "Where was you at this weekend?" I was at the Mission Sail race. Oh, what's that? I just want to say what is special about this race all over the world is it's the only racing event I know to memorialize an African American female. I mean, so that in itself is a special thing. I mean, the sport talks about diversity, and we got, to change, you got to be the change, and you got to see the change. So hopefully people will understand that racing is not just a good old boy sport, that other people do enjoy it. Like NFL. Nobody says that's a white sport, a black sport, a Spanish sport. It's just the NFL. And hopefully this race and her memory and her face of being attached to it, when people see it, it'll make people think twice, that, oh, maybe there are some cool guys, maybe there's some good guys. Maybe I'm thinking about things and people and situations differently. So, and I'll give a shout out to the sponsors, because there's only a few this year. Mike Norman has helped me immensely. So DMC Auto Exchange, Jerry Hunt Auto Sales, Pete Zakamaric over at Discount Auto Sales, and then Circle Track Chassis Helper. It's an app. Those are the sponsors that's coming on for this event. And then, I appreciate them. And, anybody else, if they want to get down, I can make awards. I'm always doing cool awards. That's the thing for me. I don't want to give just the guy that's up front a pole award, then to give him a halfway leader award, and then give him, I've got an award for the first guy out of the race gets $100. The last guy on the lead lap gets $100. Stuff
Furthest
like that.
Tow award.
Yeah, furthest tow for the furthest tow for modifieds is $200. I mean, so I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to win that, but I mean, it's just like, hey, I know you've probably towed here. If you've raced during the year, you've maybe made it just trip 10 times for the same amount of money. Now you got a couple of $100. You and your wife can go eat, or you can buy gas, or they'll probably buy race car parts, because that's all they think about. So, but it's just something else, to try to help people. So.
For sure. Well, sure. Well, listen, David, we're about to get Andy Marquise and David Anthony Goodyear on to talk about Goodyear All-American Speedway. But, man, it's good to hear that you're back in the saddle again with the Miss Giselle Memorial. Looking forward to being the announcer for that event on Play-by-Play for Caraway Speedway TV this Saturday. And I hope it's a good event, definitely. And I hope it continues to continue the memory of your wife, your friend, and somebody that was a big race fan also in Miss Giselle.
Right. And I appreciate it. And I'll see you down there. So.
Certainly will, buddy. Thank you so much. By the way, CarawaySpeedway.com for more information. That is, of course, David Sell. And again, kind of had me scared there for a second when he said gates are opening up at this time on Sunday. I was like, whoa, don't do that, because these guys are going to be racing on Sunday, and it is going to be like homecoming for me as well. We are going to the press box suite offices of what used to be known Coastal Plains Raceway Park, which is now the Goodyear All-American Speedway. And joining us in the black shirt and hat is Mr. Andy Marquise, announcer marketing official there. In the white or gray t-shirt hat is David Anthony Goodyear. Good friends, good promoters, love this place. Goodyear All-American Speedway, the inaugural Solid Rock Carriers Battle of the Stars. Andy, Anthony, good afternoon to you guys. Thank you for being on today. Unmute your mic. Somebody unmute his mic. We can't hear you. Unmute your mic, Andy. Can we talk to you? Are you got it muted on your end, Andy? Somebody unmute him. What is it? What is this? Whatever. You had the call us back. Call us back. We're going to get this done one damn way or the other, okay? Hang up and call us back. we had audio and we lost him, so let's try this again. Hang up, call us back. Bring me back on the screen, producer. We'll bring him back. All right, we'll try this again. Hang up, call us back. We'll try this again here. Maybe a button got hit. What is today is just being 11:10 backwards technical difficulty Wednesday. Obviously, what a hump day we're having. I hear you.
I hear you, Andy. Can you hear me?
I can't hear them now. Hang on, I know what I need to do real quick. We're going to grab that speaker
When you're
again.
live,
we
when
can do
you're
sign
live, you
language.
can't make this stuff up. When you're live, you can't make this stuff up. I hear you now, Anthony. Yeah, I know. We're going to go into overtime. By the way, we do. Hey guys, so y'all get fixed. We're getting ready to go off the air on our radio affiliates at the top of the hour. So let's play our commercials, and when we come back, we will continue with Andy and David. Be back in a moment.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately than having to go around from side to side to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
And welcome back to Finish Line. We are at the top of the hour. We want to thank our radio affiliates. Again, thanks for joining us. And now we're going to go back to the line. And our final guest is, we had him. What happened? It's like the Motorsports Blair Witch Project. What went wrong? I'm so scared right now. We're trying to get Andy Marquise and David Anthony Goodyear on for Goodyear All-American Speedway. They are having some type of a technical issue here. We're going to give them one more chance. Fade to black. Bring my logo back up. I don't like this. Okay, it's like it's a horror movie. Okay, bring my logo back up. It is a horror movie. So we're trying to connect to Andy Marquise, David Anthony Goodyear, Goodyear All-American Speedway. If anything, we'll have to call them on the phone. I don't want to do it that way. We have video. Do we have audio back? Can we go back live? Can we go back live via satellite? Let's try this again. Keep your fingers crossed. There is David Anthony Goodyear. Anthony, can you hear me? Welcome to Finish Line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
We did it! We did it!
We had to get rid of Andy's phone. Andy's phone was not going too good, but I got about 14% of battery on here, so let's see if we can get it in.
You better get a charger. Is it? Now Anthony's like, all right, we got audio, we got video. Damn it, where's the charger cable? Tanya, go get a charger cable. Hey, listen, big race
Big race coming up. And is there, I hate to be so picky, is there a way we can move you to brighten you up a little bit, buddy? You're kind of in a dark spot with I guess, the tower behind you, the sun. There you go. That's fine. Just do it that way, right there. There you go. Let everybody see the press box in all its glory behind you. There you go. Now, where's Andy at?
Right here.
There he is. There you go. So you guys kind of get side by side if you can, and y'all can back away from the camera. See, this is live. When it's live, you just got to go with it. You just go with it when it's live, and you make the best of it. So we're going to roll with it, baby.
Okay,
so
good
again,
deal, good deal. Thanks, Wes, for coming, having us on, and I appreciate you coming out here to help Andy out here, bringing your butt home to announce out here this big race we got going on here this weekend, buddy.
It's going to be a fun time for sure. It's the inaugural Solid Rock Carriers Battle of the Stars, and man, I messaged Kirk Ipock myself when I first found out about this, and I was like, dude, thank you for what you've done in the motorsports industry, because you see Solid Rock Carriers now on NASCAR drivers' cars, late models cars, limiteds cars. I've seen them help out four-cylinder guys. I've seen them promote these races like this event, the Cars Tour. Need I say more? Kirk Ipock is a big part of the racing industry. I feel also a Goodyear All-American Speedway, Anthony, continuing to be successful.
Yeah, we appreciate Kurt and Lynette a lot. They do a lot for the community and racing, and he loves racing. There ain't no doubt in my mind. He was getting ready to go to have a concert in Missouri or something and go see George Strait and Chris Stapleton, and he decided he was giving them tickets up so he can stay here and come to the race with us. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Andy, you and I are big friends. We love racing in general. You always say Martinsville is like Christmas Day for you, for the late models at the Valley Star 300. Would you say, and you've said this on social media already, do you feel like this is Christmas coming to coastal North Carolina this weekend, especially Sunday afternoon?
I do. And I mean, I didn't get to go to Martinsville this year because we decided to put on a race that night for the support, all our support divisions, guys who are here each week. So this is probably, and then you look at, this is probably the biggest race of the year so far that I've been able to get to outside of the Old North Nationals for sure. And this is exciting. I mean, you got some heavy hitters out here, Justin Johnson, Josh Perry, obviously. Tony Grady coming back, that's kind of a big deal. So it's very exciting on that front to have so many big names coming to this track.
There is a special format for this event, for the Battle of the Stars, and there is stage races. Anthony, can you kind of on the promoter role let the audience on Finish Line know what the format will be and why you decided to do stage racing, kind of like what we see with NASCAR, but this is going to be exciting. This is like the all-star race of late model stock cars in the country. That's the nicest way of saying it.
That's right, Wes. That's kind of what I had in mind and what I wanted to do when we started talking about this deal and putting it together. And we're gonna have fun with it and make it fun for the drivers. So obviously Saturday on the 13th, going to be all testing and tuning and getting ready to, for the race as far as Saturday goes. So Sunday they'll get their last practice and then they'll go out and qualify. And fast qualifier is going to actually come to the front stretch and have the opportunity to flip this coin that I've had made here, right here, if you can see that. So it's got a 1 on one side and it's got a 2 on the other side. So the fast qualifier is going to flip the coin, and whatever number it lands on, that's going to be the race that I'm going to invert. So when we get to that point, to the stage, that stage is what we're going to invert. It's either going to be the first one or the second one. And I've got some dice made up right here. So the guy that wins the first stage race or the race that we're getting ready to invert, they're going to roll the dice on the front stretch right there out in front of the fans. That's what's going to be the invert. So we're going to have a little fun with that, right there. It's going to be 150 laps. We had 30 cars that had pre-registered. Unfortunately, we've had a couple drivers that's had to drop out. There was a couple little personal issues, some family deals. So we understand that, and they can try and get in the race next year. So we appreciate them trying to come out and race with us then. But it's gonna be real fun. We're gonna have a pretty good time with it.
Charles, our producer, has a question for you guys. Listen up to Charles. He's our producer. He's the guy that's in my head. Go ahead, Charles. You just talk on the air. Why do you do
Okay,
what?
I'm just curious why there's a microwave in the announcer's booth if you have a concession stand.
Well, I don't let
it. We work here during the week.
He said, "Why is there a microphone in the announcer's booth?" That's not the announcer's booth, by the way.
I don't let Andy out of the office here, so that's where he makes his lunch.
Oh my goodness! Which by the way, that I know that press box very well. That is not the announcer booth. That's actually race control. That's where they're eating hot pockets and trying to keep from getting hot on the racetrack, making calls. So hey, Anthony, in all seriousness though, man, what does it mean to see? And I said this, the other day. Man, Facebook memories are so special. They can be exciting and make you laugh, and then sometimes they can make you cry, or they make you think about a memory of somebody. And a couple of days ago was the passing of 10 years ago, my friend Mike Leggett, who was the longtime voice of Coastal Plains Raceway, which is now Goodyear All-American Speedway. And I was just thinking to myself, and I did say a prayer up in heaven to my friend. I was like, buddy, I miss you. And man, I wish you could see what Anthony and Tanya and Andy have done to Goodyear All-American Speedway. I know it would bring a smile to your face, and I know he's smiling up in heaven right now. And I know I'm going to enjoy working with Andy, but I know I'll probably get emotional. I'm getting emotional right now, and I know I'll have goosebumps because I always feel his presence there when I go in that press box. There's so many people that do what we do, Andy, myself, but Mike Leggett was the voice of Coastal Plains Raceway. He was the voice of that racetrack, and I think his legacy lives on there. But what can you say about the work, the dedication, the passion since July 31st of what you've done with this racetrack? And even before then, with all of the renovations you did to bring East Coast racing back to life there.
Well, I tell you, there has been a lot of work that's gone on around here. Everything's been painted, all the buildings. Nothing looks the same the way it used to. It really needed to have a facelift like that to rebrand and rename this track. The suites are all done, all new carpet and paint and stuff like that up there. So we've been working real hard. It's amazing. I think last night I got a little emotional seeing really how much it got, how big it blew up and how large and huge that it got, lack of better words, overnight. So I'm pretty proud of all the guys and everybody, Tanya and Summer, and everything that Andy does and all the other people that you don't get to see, that's behind the scenes in the tire barn and the tech guys and flag guys and all them guys. It's just everybody's been working hard together and really putting 100% into it, and the support that we got, the support team that I got from a lot of different tracks around with Steve Brett and Diaz and we're working real close with Steve Zachariah. We're trying to get working on schedules and stuff like that. So it's really amazing. With me, I guess you'd call me old rookie promoter. This is my first go around. Everybody else has been in it for a while, but I really feel like I knew how to do it the whole time. And with a little bit of teamwork behind me and support behind me, it just come together. It really come together pretty easy. So we're happy about that. And I've always said, if you got to work at something too hard, it ain't worth it, or it wasn't meant to be. But this has just all come together like, boom, this is the way it's supposed to happen. This is where we're at. 4 months later, we're holding one of the biggest late mile races in North Carolina, and putting ourselves right on top of the map where I want to be.
And Andy, I want to bring you back in here as well, my friend. It's an all-star race. I mean, literally, I think that's something that me and you have always talked about a couple of times together. Besides Martinsville Battle of the Stars, that's right. And by the way, you need to be there at Goodyear All American Speedway, formerly Coastal Plains Raceway. This place is going to be packed. They've had great crowds this year. Car counts have been decent, and I think over 30 late models, close to 26, 28 cars are going to take the green flag. And Andy, it's in an all-star format, and I think that's what's so special. Welcome to the show. You've literally done social advertising promotions. This is a big race, and y'all have made it out to be big. The reason why I think there's so much hype about this race is because of the public relations marketing side of it, and also the format. This is an all-star race. There's money on the line, but there's money in the stages. There's fan interaction. There's driver interaction. There's meet and greets. There's so many things that you would see at the NASCAR All-Star race for this event on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is you want to. I mean, the biggest thing is taking over the track. You know, you had a Facebook page that only had a couple hundred likes. You had a brand new website. You have this. You have a track that has been here for 20 years, but no one knows about it. You've got all sorts of things. You've got another track, you know, a half hour away that has 15,000 people on Facebook. It's a track where I just left that track to come to work with this one and build it up, and you're dealing with, you got to work with that, and you're trying to build this up, and the track you just built a social media empire around is now all of a sudden, that's the for lack of a better word, the competition. So it's that.
Sure.
This has come from nothing on the digital media side, on the marketing side. We've done a lot with radio around here. So the newspaper, the Jacksonville Daily News, they were jumping up and down when they saw that I was coming out here, because they've been looking for results from this track for years and years. So this is it's a lot of hard work to put together. It's a lot to put to be able to put this. You have come in with. Unfortunately, there's no records around here to pass except what's on the third turn page. So you're really coming in here. To me, it was almost like this is a brand new track opening from scratch, and you're trying to get this in everyone's face. And you want everyone to eventually open up turn on their iPhone. I don't want to talk about that phone right now. And that's what you want people to. That's what you want people to see. You want people to know you're there, and you got to spend a little money at it too. But it's just a lot of hard work on that PR side for sure to get it to where people can know about it. The other hard part about it is race 22, with the exception of what Doc Love does, it's non-existent. Short track scene has now folded into Racing America, so you don't have the same, you don't have the late model stock, audience you can easily talk to the way we've been able to for years and years.
And then Racing America has now officially today, November 10th, folded, or not really folded, but they have now become Racing America, powered by Speed 51 TV. So there's a lot of things. Yes.
And they will be broadcasting on Sunday live. We're fortunate. We've had a great relationship so far with Racing America, and looking forward to continuing that into next year. We've talked with Alan some, probably some of the Winter Heat Series races that you probably remember watching the NASCAR Winter Heat and stuff on ESPN. Now you're going to get to
Tucson.
Watch the Winter Heat Series right here from this track on Speed 51, Racing America. So we've had a great relationship with them, and looking forward to continuing that.
And by the way, I'm not taking anything away, Anthony, from this race that you and Tanya got cooking, the Battle of the Stars this weekend. But if anybody's looking for anything to do on January the 1st And people have always said we need to have races on New Year's because we really, Andy, haven't done anything since the Polar Bear 150, because the following week is the New Year's Bash at Dillon. Come to Goodyear All-American Speedway. You have an idea of doing a winter series. How did that come about? And how, I love the fact that it's not just late models. You're doing super trucks, you're doing street stocks, you're doing pure stocks, you're doing Thunder and Lightning, you're doing bombers, U-cars, mini cups, legends. You're doing a smorgasbord, if you will, a plethora of motorsports divisions, and you're not gonna, what is the word David used earlier, hold everybody hostage at the racetrack. It's going to be 4 or 5 divisions, a quickly timed show, a daytime event, not racing at nighttime in the cold, and try to give everybody some entertainment during the wintertime.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it just kind of came about, we, like I said last night, we kind of got into it in half of the season. So we haven't really had a full season. So while we're into it and our motivation's up and we're moving forward, we're focusing on a lot of things. I figured let's race. I mean, as long as the weather is 50 degrees or a little better, we can race. The track's good. I got a lot of people, a lot of feedback around here. The drivers they're anxious to come. They'll be happy to come out and support the track. And like I said, as long as the weather is good, we can race. Actually, that schedule for the Winter Heat Series will be announced around Christmas
the
time.
schedule for the Winter Heat Series is already up. The 2022 schedule will be announced around Christmas time. And I think the excitement about the Winter Heat Series is, one, it was, for me, part of it, it was the most exciting thing for me when I was a kid. I loved, right after the Jaguars games, you flip the TV over to TNN or ESPN, and they're running late models in Tucson and Arizona in the winter, and those were my favorite races to watch. But with the climate, with it being warmer, it's not 30-degree daytimes in the winter as much anymore. It's now there's a lot of 60, 70-degree days, and that's becoming more and more normal. And we're racing in February in South Carolina. We've got tracks racing in December. We've got tracks. Why not? This is something that can be done where it's usually warm in Jacksonville, and this is something that, why not roll the dice and go with it?
And I will say this, and Anthony or Andy kind of opened the door, so I'm going to kick it down again. If you look at the history of what was Tucson Raceway Park and the Winter Heat Series, that is where the development of the NASCAR Super Truck, now Camping World Truck Series, came from. That is where Winston West and Winston East came from, which is now the ARCA Menards East and West Series off the ARCA Menards Series National Tour. So there is a lot of heritage there, a lot of history there, and what people loved. And, every time they had a race, it was packed. It was a great turnout. And I know it's on the West Coast, and I know it's in Arizona. And obviously, it doesn't get that cold in Arizona, except late in the hot in the desert at night. And I will say the topic, hashtag fake news, the type of announcements came out that the winter months ahead look to be very, very abnormal, which means that there's going to be, chance of precipitation a lot this year during the winter months. Fingers crossed, and that works out to the good for everybody. So I think I'm having some technical difficulties on my end. We've been on
we were having some technical difficulties, but I could tell what you were saying, which is it's supposed to be a very warm, very dry winter. Normally it's a little cooler. Normally winters when we get the rain, and the conditions are looking optimal with La Nina for racing, but it's looking more and more optimal year after year, because when they say it's going to be a very warm winter, they've been saying that is the case every year for the past 10, 15 years. And with climate trends, you've got to believe it's going to continue. This is something that I think is a long-term thing. It's not just a one-year deal. I think in an area like where we're at, where it's going to be in the 60s in the winter a lot, that's something we could probably do quite a bit down the road.
Yeah. And
I'll
like you
take
said
it.
earlier, we get the
Yeah,
show in, get the
I'll
show
take
on
it.
time,
My,
and the day,
my
it'll be the daytime. So
producer is in Texas, and he says,
yeah, we're having some more difficult technical. I don't know if we got a good signal or not. Can you still hear us?
yeah, I think we got you back with us. It's either on your end, something happened. The hamster fell off the wheel.
Okay. But yeah, we're excited
Can
for
you hear
that.
me now?
And be in the daytime, and get the show in and out, and people home. Whether it's the winter time or the regular race season, nobody wants to be held hostage and be sitting at the track all day. We want to get the race in, get everybody done home safely, and move on with their plans for the rest of the weekend. So,
And a lot of people might come for some of these, Saturday afternoons. They're not, we got, especially later in January, we kind of heat up the winter heat series with more races after the hangover race on New Year's Day. We have mid-January, late January, early February. People in North Carolina aren't going to be watching the Panthers in January, so that should be optimal.
I loved it. You know what? We might have had some technical difficulties, but when you said Panthers, I was like, okay, that's awesome that he brought that in there. And then, as a segue, I don't think anybody's going to be watching the Jaguars either, Andy. Okay, so it's
This is true. Well, we don't expect to ever go to the playoffs.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Listen, Anthony.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Wes?
So before your phone dies, because I know you said you had like T minus 14%.
Yeah.
And before we do lose you, I do want you to give the format, the schedule, the pricing, all that good stuff, because actually it's pretty affordable. This is going to be a really great Sunday of entertainment. And I'll say this, all you NASCAR people out there, get your butts out to the racetrack, support short track racing. You like short track racing, you liked Martinsville, you're going to see something like that, of course, at Goodyear All-American Speedway. And I'm going to give you the entry list of people that have, said, hey, they're coming, they're not coming. Obviously, I know things have changed. That's life. We understand that. But I still think in closing, Mr. Goodyear, you're going to have close to 20-something plus late models, and it's going to be a hell of a show at the racetrack in Jacksonville this weekend. But give the schedule, the format, the pricing, and we'll let you go.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. And, I appreciate you having us on and taking the time with us. So, first of all, we know it's going to be great to have Wesley, you here, in the pre-race show and co-announcing with Andy. Just want to say real quick, we're going to have the commissioner, Walter Scott's going to be here. Skylar's going to do the national anthem, and there's going to be East Carolina's got a special announcement that they're going to make here on Sunday.
Carolina Motor Speedway in Robertsonville. Yeah, they'll make a brief special announcement that I think is going to be, well, you know what it is. We're not going to spill the beans. We're going to let them do that, but it's going to be a pretty cool deal too.
Yeah. So quick rundown on Saturday the 13th. Pit gates open at 8 o'clock. Tire barn and shed opens at 9. Practice starts at 12 to 5. And then everybody goes home and they come back on Sunday, 8 o'clock. Pit's going to open. We got 11:10 late models final practice. And then we're going to go into qualifying at 1:15. We're going to be running Bandoleros, 15 laps, few cars, 20, Legends, 25, Bombers, 20. All Star Battle of the Stars is going to be 150 laps with all the, the stage racing and the flipping and the coins going on and the rolling the dice. So that's going to be real fun. General admission up here at the grandstand is going to be $20 for adults, $15 for military and seniors. Kids under 6 to 12 will be $5, and under 5 is going to be free. We got a lot of good stuff in the concession stands. We're really prepared. The girls and all the staff's been working hard, so I think we're pretty much ready for it. Got a couple other things I need to tighten up a little bit around here this morning. I actually went ahead and painted the numbers on the wall we've been waiting on. So now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 painted on the wall. So kudos to me. It's been taking me about a week to get that done. So.
And the other thing on some of this too that we, I like what David was talking about, David Stell a little while ago about, having all these divisions. I know a lot of fans don't like it when late models are last, and I mean, but at the same time, one of the things we're probably going to do is that late model race. It's not going to be like the race is going to start at 5, 6 o'clock. If you got the preliminary races, if they start to get out of hand, we're going to start this late model race at a reasonable time. I mean, it's not going to be those guys are going to go out there and, legends or bombers are going to go out there and run an hour race. That's not going to happen. We know that starting at 3, the race needs to be over by 7. And the late models need to be on the track by like 4:30, one way or the other. So I actually like that David said that, because I think that, we're trying to keep our schedules a little shorter. We're trying to go to 4, 5, 6, maybe divisions a night, because I know that when you're probably the same way, Wes. You go to a racetrack and you get there at 6 o'clock and then it's 10:30 and they're just starting the feature race, and and that no one likes that. So that is an important thing that I'm glad David mentioned it. There's actually been a lot of tracks that have been talking about that.
I was just yawning thinking about what you were talking about. I don't know if you saw that. I was just yawning thinking about that. So, yeah, very, very long time for sure. Definitely. So, well, listen, you're exactly right, guys. And I will tell you this, nothing compares to being live, Mr. Goodyear and Andy Marquise. But if you can't, Race in America, powered by Speed 51 TV, will be there with coverage. Obviously, I believe I haven't really followed up with them, but there's supposed to be like a full-on production. I think Andy was telling me the other night, a full broadcast. So, definitely it should be, the best way for you to experience it without being there live, but obviously you need to be there in person. Final question, Anthony, and we'll let you. Do you see this of the Stars All-Star race return? Do you see it coming back next year? And think that maybe other racetracks may consider doing some type of a format of this caliber to make it entertaining for the fans, for the drivers. Obviously, it's different. It's not just a 100-lap race. It's not like a 150-lap race. This is a special all-star race format.
Yeah, Wes, we caught most of that. You're breaking up still a little bit, but I caught what you were laying down. Yeah, it is a special race, and we're gonna do it annually. I mean, the Battle of the Stars, the All-Star race, and that whole format and everything that we got envisioned. We're branding that. We're going to be in November. We're definitely going to keep on doing that and make a tradition out of it. Everybody else has got their own little races. You got the Thanksgiving Classic, and Zachariah's over there has got 400, and everybody's got their own little signature race. And I guess we just developed ours, and we're gonna keep doing it. It's gonna get bigger. I really plan on having. I mean, if I came next year, I want to have 80 cars come here, and I'd like to do some country races and heat races, make it a 2 or 3 day event. I mean, and just make something really pretty wild out of it. So I don't know, my mind thinks really big like that, so it gets me in trouble sometimes. But hey, go big or go home is what I say.
All right. So before I let you go, Andy, if you know how to use David's phone, if not, David, you do it. You might be more technically inclined. I want y'all to lift up the window blinds that you had the blinds open, and before we go off the air, I want you to show the racetrack. I want you to show this facility to these people on finish line, and as a send off, make your phone sideways. And try to go to the different side angle. Andy, I don't know if you can click the lens, click it and change it to to not the other camera. I think you can, and show the racetrack to us before we jump off here. Normally you can just hit the circle, or you just click the lens and it'll change it. There you go. Is it changing?
It's not going to change.
Just turn it around. There you go. Look at this. There's the racetrack. There it is. Look at that. I can't even recognize it anymore. Honestly, look, I mean, it
Looks
looks so different,
looks
all
a
the
lot like
work
Myrtle
that's
Beach
gone
now.
on. It certainly
Yeah.
does. It certainly does. Such an awesome job. New scoreboard, painted walls. I said this with you guys on the before. It's amazing what you can do. It's amazing how things can be changed differently and look good with a new fresh coat of paint on a wall. It's amazing. Definitely. Definitely.
There's the trophy. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, yes. We got a lot of hardware to hand out. Yeah, and Jim Beebe, the flagman at the racetrack, has got special flags to give to the winner as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of hardware to hand out there, and it's kind of cluttered up right now. But if you can see that, that's what we got.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So,
well, guys, listen, thank you so much. Thank you to David Anthony Goodyear. Tanya, I want to give Tanya love as well. David, I know she's your wife, and I know she's been a backbone and such a big helper for you. We're going on a field trip. He is taking us outside. He's taking us somewhere. Oh, there she is. There she is. Yeah. Well, Tanya, I don't know if David told you this, but we're on the air. You're live on the air right now, so you're.
I know, and I appreciate him doing that to me, to be perfectly honest with you. It looks like a bomb exploded in here.
Looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend. David, thank you so much. Andy Marquise, and there's Tanya Goodyear as well. Everybody has done such a phenomenal job. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm looking forward to being on the announcing team. Who is this pretty lady?
Oh, that's Summer. That's Tanya's little sister. I don't know if you can see her there. I got it on.
Yeah, we see you. Hi, Tanya. I'll see you Saturday. I'll see you Sunday. Yeah, definitely.
Be careful, and I appreciate it, guys. Everybody out there, y'all, just keep watching Goodyear All American Speedway. We got a lot of big things coming. Appreciate everybody out there.
Gonna be a fun time for sure. I'm looking forward to it. See you on Sunday afternoon, Anthony. Definitely, buddy. And you can bet that I'll be at Caraway, and I'll try to promote and get some of these guys to make the trip down to Jacksonville for Sunday too, for sure. Definitely.
Okay, I got 3 more spots. There's 3 more spots. I got enough material and tires for 3 more guys here. So we're already at 27 per field, and I need 3 more drivers. We can get to 31. That's my race number. That's the number on the side of my super truck. So, I mean, that's the field that I'm looking for, 31. So tell them guys to get their cars ready, loaded up, and come out here at Goodyear All American Speedway for the Battle of the Stars.
Definitely, my friend, definitely. And I will see you on Sunday morning, my friend. Thanks for your time on Finish Line this afternoon.
Thank you, Wes. We'll talk to you later.
Not a problem, buddy. There you go. Well, that's hey, listen, I know we ran a little bit long, but I wanted to get Dave. What did you say, producer? I'm hungry. I wanted to get my producer, or not my producer. I wanted to get David Sell about the Miss Giselle Memorial, and of course the Battle of the Stars All-Star Race. I mean, that's awesome. So for sure. All right, let's get out of here. Cue up our music. Let's get out. Come on. Goodbye. There we go. Oh, we had some technical difficulties. We got through them. We had some laughs. We had some emotional moments. The good, the bad. We talked about a lot of good things. The good, the bad, the ugly of racing. Might have ruffled some feathers. Don't really care. If I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. Really don't care. It's our show. It's Finish Line. And I say what other people are afraid to say. I try to be very blunt. But, you heard what Andy said. You heard what Anthony said. You heard what David said on the promoter's role. We've got to find a way. You heard what the drivers have said. Because amongst having these guys on as winners, promoting their victories, they also have concerns. They have questions. They have things in the industry that are we going to see electric-powered race cars? Are we going to see a NASCAR flying car series one day, like Back to the Future? We don't know. But we do know that on the road to life, there's always a finish line. Whether it's dirt, drag, pavement. Big races this weekend. Sonoy Raceway winner, All-Tech winner. We preview Needmore. We preview the Snowball Derby preview practice. We've also got, of course, coming up the winners at Caraway
at the Michelle Memorial, Battle of the Stars, and so much more. For LSRTV Productions, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wood, all of our guests, great guest lineup, awesome turnout. I love you all. Matt Hirschman, Mason Diaz, Russell Irwin, Jet Nolan, Josh Lauder, David Sell, Andy Marquise, Anthony Goodyear. I'm Wesley Outland. Be good to one another. We rock and roll. We'll do it again. Thanks for watching and listening to Finish Line. Have a good one.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having to go around from side to side to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.